Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Players Take, episode 136. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host. He wishes he was the Iron Mask, Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? How are you today?
Just glad to be home.
Oh, yeah? Was it working you hard? They working you hard over there?
Working a combination of life.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I'm just tired. Just tired all the time. Well, Sony, they fixed the trophies on PS5, dude. I don't know if you've seen the new trophy interface with the latest update, but
No, I haven't.
they fixed it, man. It looks good now. It's actually readable. It's usable. I'm actually okay with it now. It was total fucking shit stain before, like the worst shit I've ever seen. But it's much better now. And then they also fixed that. You remember that bug that was happening with PS4s that like they had a dead internal battery and they wouldn't play games?
Yeah, the CMOS battery.
Yeah, they fixed that apparently too this week.
Okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense since there are still a large install base on PS4. So,
I mean, dude,
yeah,
that'd
that
be
makes
awful for like the long-term aftermarket viability of the PS4. Like it would be terrible. The console would be a fucking brick for everybody in like 5 years, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm glad they fixed that. That would really suck dick.
They did give you more options to capture though. I did see that. I remember last week, or actually, because the patch came out this week, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I came out last week. I was trying to record Tails clips, and I remember I can only do 30 seconds, and then it skips to 3 minutes and then 5 minutes. And I'm like, what type of shit is this? But now they added like because I was like, where's the minute? I need a minute or whatever. And they added the 1 minute mark. I don't know if they added like anything between the 3 and the 5. I didn't check that. But yeah, it's I think it's like 10 seconds,
Wait, is
30
that on
seconds.
PS5?
Yeah.
I thought, did they take this away? Because, dude, on PS4 when I did it, you could like pick out any period of like the last 15 minutes or something and make it however long you wanted.
Yeah, so you can still do that. So they got time periods now. If you go to the capture settings and you when you double click your share button, it automatically captures like the last 5 minutes, or you can set it to like the last 5 minutes, the last 3 minutes, the last 30 seconds, or the last minute, or whatever. So I just been doing like the last minute because Tails battles don't really last long at all, even on hard mode. So I just been doing the last minute, but before I had to do last 3 minutes. Like that was the closest I can get, because sometimes 30 seconds would be too short, and then sometimes and 3 minutes is way too long. But yeah, they just added the minute mark in there, and I didn't explore what else they added, but yeah, they added a lot of stealth stuff in there as well. So I recommend people just go around, because that wasn't in the patch notes at all.
Yeah.
So I recommend people just go around checking different other stuff that you may have wondered about, because they did add a lot of stealth stuff in there that wasn't in the patch notes.
Cool. Well, yeah, it's good they're making improvements. I mean, these are like actual real improvements they're making too.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the entire PS4 generation, I can't remember a single firmware patch that added anything I could ever like that I ever cared about. So, hey, at least they're doing something right. All right. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And please, if you have a question for us, please send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at theplayerstake. We will read those questions on the show and give you our best answers for them. All right, Montrell, why don't we start, like always, with what we've been playing? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I'm about to delete everything off this list. And so I've only been playing one game, and that's
Okay.
Tales of Arise. But you
Okay.
can go because I know you got more stuff to
I got
say.
nothing to say. I've been playing Hades, World of Warcraft, Apex. Really, the only game of consequence I want to talk about is Tales as well. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been playing Apex as well, but uh, the Reddit. I'll say something about Apex. The Reddit for Apex is really interesting. I
hmm
found out they actually got rid of a lot of hackers. So I don't know. Maybe we're just in it. But the thing is, I think we're running into a lot of more hackers because they did get rid of a lot of hackers, but there was a mass exodus from Warzone. I know you saw it in our group chat, but
yeah,
I actually looked it up too, and there are a lot of people coming over from Warzone, coming over to the servers and over to Apex. And if you know, like I know, if you've been following Warzone since its inclination, you know that they came with a lot of hackers. So I think we are still running into hackers. Um, but they probably have some kind of aimbot that's like a universal aimbot that
hmm
Apex hasn't detected yet. And yeah, that's what I think we're running into now. I think we're running into a lot of sweaties. Uh, a lot of these Smurf accounts that we may think are Smurf accounts aren't actually Smurf accounts. They're actual people that came from
they're just
Warzone. They're like,
Warzone players. They're
yeah,
sweaty FPS players that are just good at
yeah,
FPS in general. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean that makes sense why we were running into a lot of those
I
lately.
mean,
So
man, we scream about hackers all the time, though. We blame every death. I feel like we blame all of our deaths on hackers.
well, I because it's
It just
like
feels that way, though. It really. I mean,
yeah,
like,
it does.
man, you like
I don't-
watch these people, dude, and it's like they'll weird things happen in Apex. Okay, and maybe this is just the way it goes. I'm sure when I watch, if I ever watch my own gameplay back, it probably would play out this way. But like, there's games where we will drop right, and we'll be fighting another team, and bro, when I tell you that they obliterate all of us in that fight, in like without even us even being able to turn around and shoot. I'm not even kidding. Like there's times where we get killed so fast, like we don't even get to pull our own trigger. It's like it's stupid. And then we like watch them after the fact, and these people are like some of the worst players I've ever seen. They like potato. They can't hit the fucking broadside of a barn, and it's like what the fuck. Like, how do you go from perfect aim, you hit every shot, and you hit like half your shots are fucking headshots, to you cannot even hit your opponent? Like, it just
so
it's like
that's why I want to stream because I
yeah,
think I want to know if we're crazy. Like I want to see, I want the audience to see if we're crazy because
yeah,
what he's describing is exactly what the fuck happens. There have
yep,
been plenty of games where we drop hot, like you said.
yep.
Everything he says is true. We get instantly headshotted, like R99,
Like
all
like
headshots, and then
3
we watch
wingman
these.
headshots in a row, like,
And then
like
we watch
crazy
these
shit.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
we watch these people, and then they're not even like, especially if they're on PC, right? You know, the whole PC
Mhm,
meta right now is the AD while you're fucking picking up your shit,
mhm.
while you're looting or whatever. They don't even do that. They just regular sit there,
Bro,
and then they'll go,
they like they
and then
like
they find
they
another
like do the
team,
equivalent
and
of
then they're like the
keyboard
worst.
turning, like in
And then
MMO, like that's how slow they move, like
yeah, and they, like he said, they fired another team, and I'm not co-signing him because he's my co-host, like, or my friend. Like they legitimately are horrible when they fight other teams, and you're like, "Am I just bad at the game? I can't be that bad at the game." It's it really fucking hurts you when you see how
yeah.
they play, and you're just
Oh,
like,
man.
no fucking way.
Dude, they can't even pull their gun out. They're like punching the air because they like forgot to pull their gun out after running for a while. Like it's just shit like that, man. Like they don't even know how to like slide jump or do anything remotely complicated in terms of movement. And
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like I don't understand it. It happens a lot. But then there's games where you do get obliterated by somebody, and then you watch them and they just obliterate everybody they run into.
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
dude, they like play Octane, and they hear shots and they just run at the shots, and they don't stop until they've killed everyone in the opposing team. They literally don't stop attacking and moving until they've killed the enemy team. And I'm sure some of you are going to say that's how you play Apex, and yeah, sure, maybe it is. But I just don't believe people in our lobbies are that good. We're not that good. Like, we aren't that good. Like, we aren't players
We
that are
aren't
that good.
predators, man. Like
Like,
for
yeah, we
real.
aren't predators. Like, and I'm just like, we see people like this sometimes, man, where I just know it's happening in the moment too, where we'll fire at a team and they're in the middle of a fight and they kill the team they're fighting, and then they just turn around. They don't even fucking heal, bro. They just turn around and Octane throws the fucking jump pad down and they just jump pad at us, and in the middle of the air, they're flying through the air, bro, and they're hitting headshots on us. I'm like, am I playing the game wrong? Like, should I be going into the fucking training range and firing range and fucking jump pad attacking people? Like, what am I doing? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, who
I
are these
can't explain
people?
it to you, and I hate when we all constantly say hackers, but bro, like you said, it legitimately feels like that. It
Yeah.
legitimately feels like I'm playing against hackers sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because it just like the sliding shit. Like me and Snakes were doing terrible yesterday. Oh my
Yeah.
god, we were doing so bad, and we could not figure out what the fuck was going on. It's just we were just like, bro, what the fuck? Like, because we were matching up with people on my play, like, because I don't play as much as you guys, especially on the PS4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
So my lobbies are way lower ranked than your guys, and yeah, we were just running into like people who were like headshotting Snakes, and I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, it was. And by the way, we don't play ranked because ranked is nothing but hackers, like
And it's super
100%.
sweaty.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little bitch. They don't play the game. They play PUBG. That's what they do. They're just
Yeah.
yeah. I don't enjoy
Yeah.
ranked.
So but yeah, we can move on. That was my little rant about Apex though. I still enjoy the game. I just I need to be fixed. I need
Was
a
the
lot of
game
stuff to be
broken
fixed.
still yesterday? By the way.
The lobbies were a lot better yesterday.
Okay. Last time I played was Monday or Tuesday, and I remember it being better. So I don't think they've fixed the issues, but they seem lessened from where they were last week. So, I mean, but dude, the fact that it took them basically a week and a half to fix this shit is crazy. I can't believe that. $1 billion company, man. Yay.
Yeah, I think people are boycotting Warzone for some reason. So I don't know what's
Hackers,
going
right?
on.
I think it's hackers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're coming over here then. So
All right, well, let's get into Tails, man. I got a lot. I feel like it's a lot more interesting conversation to have. So,
yes, it is. Yes.
I've been playing it this week. I started on Sunday or Monday, I don't remember. And I've been playing it throughout the week. I'm about, I'd say, 9 hours in, 8 or 9, somewhere in that range. You're much further than I am. I don't know what hour mark you're at.
Last time I checked, I was at like 42 hours.
Fuck, dude. Okay, all right. Jesus.
Yeah.
Clearly, you like the game.
Yeah, I had to
How
take a
much do
break
you?
from it.
How much do you like the game?
Uh, this, all right. This is probably controversial because this is my favorite Tales game.
Mm. Is he about to say it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? He's gonna say
It might be up there. It's tied with Vesperia for me.
it. Ooh, he said it. Oh shit! I can't believe he's saying that. Ooh man. Okay. Okay. All right. No, go into it,
as,
man. Tell the
as
people, how
far
did
as
you feel?
as far as MCs go, I don't think I did like Alphen a lot. I still like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's up there with Lloyd as far as or not Lloyd, but Yuri as
Yuri.
far as like
Yeah.
depth. Because he still kind of follows the shonen trope, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
He has a lot of shonen moments in this game. So to me, he's like second in command to where Lloyd where Lloyd would be at. Because I like Lloyd a lot, but he's more of a shonen protagonist,
I mean,
in my
Lloyd, dude.
opinion.
Lloyd's like Naruto. He's like,
Yeah.
there's a cutscene. I vividly remember this cutscene from Symphonia where Kratos is asking him why he uses two swords, like why he dual wields, and Lloyd's like, "Well, if my power with one sword is one, then my power with two swords is two." And Kratos is like, "What?"
All right, so he's not that dumb. He's not that dumb.
No,
Okay.
Alphen's a way better protag than that in terms of like intelligence, but
Yeah.
that like
Okay.
that scene epitomizes what Lloyd is to me, and he's
Yeah.
just an
I
idiot.
really wish I played the older Symphonia games.
Yeah.
Not Symphonia, but Tales games like the ones on the PS2, one and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, like it would go Yuri and then Alphen for me. Alphen's he really has a lot of depth to him, he learns from a lot of the other characters. That's what I really like about him because he actually is a player avatar. Like you experience a lot of the emotion and learning through him.
Well, he doesn't he's lost his memory at the beginning of the game, so
Yeah,
he's as clueless as you are about everything
yeah,
as a player.
exactly. And I think they did a really good job at that.
Mhm.
I think the cast though. I don't know how far you are. So tell me how far you are before I start
So
mentioning people.
I'm in the second region. I just got the third party member, the mage,
Uh, Rinwell.
Rinwell. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So that's about as far as I've gotten.
Rinwell is the Dr. Umar of uh the Danins.
Wait, what?
She she's the Dr. Umar of the
She
the
said,
Danins, bro.
okay, guys,
She
I just need to give you a visual here. This character is a little girl with a pet owl that she calls Hoodle, and he is comparing her to Dr. Umar.
yes.
Okay.
Uh once you get further in the game, you will understand why.
Okay.
Man,
I
like
mean, she's
she
racist. She seems racist as fuck. That's the impression I'm getting of her so far.
so I was
But
debating people. She's not racist. She's prejudiced.
she's
And I
prejudiced.
she
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
she with good reason, right? Like
Hmm.
she like
No, I mean, yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
But yeah, she like meet other party members and stuff like that, and they'll say something because they're like, Renans or whatever. Like Shion will say something or whatever, and then she'll pretty much be like, "Okay, but you're Renin though, so shut up." Pretty much like you're Renin though, so your opinion really doesn't matter here.
Oh
Like
my god.
you
Yeah.
guys stole our culture. Like, what did
Yeah.
you expect from us? And they're like, "What the fuck, man? Like, chill, chill
Yeah.
out."
Yeah. No,
Like, okay,
she goes from 0 to 100 really fast with
real
Shion. It's
quick.
fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious, man. Like Shion speaks and Rinwell loses her mind. She's like the equivalent of a lefty on Twitter talking about a Trump voter. Like that's kind of her. That's kind of her MO.
Yeah, it's another character you get, and she does that too with them as well,
Hmm.
and it's just
Hmm.
fucking hilarious. Like, and they're so innocent, like, because
Yeah.
they just don't know any better, and she's just like, bro, that's our culture. Like, okay, this is not spoilers. This is a side quest. There's one side quest you have to bury a body, like a Dahanan body, for somebody,
Bury the
and
balls. Sorry,
so
that's a
so you
Tony Sperano reference from the NFL.
so you bury the body or the person dies and they're like, oh, we're gonna burn the body or whatever, and then the Renans are like, wait, why would you do that? Why would you not? We do burial ceremony and stuff like to honor our dead. And then she looks at them, she's like, unfortunately we were slaves, so we don't have time to fucking bury people. Like, we have to fucking burn the bodies because of disease and stuff, and we have to work around these bodies, so we just learned to burn them. That's what we do. That's our culture, because we've been slaves for the last 300 years.
Oh god, Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, 0 to 100. Holy shit,
So
man. Why do
it's
you? Hey,
hilarious.
oh, what? Why do you? Why do you wear rags? Oh, we were slaves. Fuck it.
Yeah, I love her. That's my favorite character. Like
I
I tell
mean,
everybody, that's my favorite character.
I gotta
I
get
love
deeper
her
in
to
the
death.
game, but I mean, she's not like incorrect. She's based on what I've seen so far. Like the world they live in is fucked up. The Renans are pieces of shit. Like she's not wrong to hate them. Like like she it's just funny though to see it in a game because most games don't do this kind of thing. That's why I
Yeah.
gotta give them props for this story so far, at least in the sense that like they kind of have some balls here because like they're really tackling a subject that probably hits close to home for a lot of people.
Yep.
And I mean, you mentioned it when you were talking to me last week. Like it's not something video games tackle in a good way a lot of the time, but this is
Hmm.
like an anime JRPG, so it comes off weird because it feels real, but at the same time it's like an anime, so it's like kind of funny at the same time. Like it like there's moments like that, like we're laughing at Rinwell where it's like we shouldn't probably be, but the way
Laughing.
it's presented though, it's this little anime girl with a fucking little pet owl screaming about oppression. Like I don't know how to say it without it being funny. It's like it's just it is. I don't know. So I like the presentation of the game. I like the way I like the way they've approached the story because it's not funny all the time. Like there's very serious moments in it. It's handled very well on both ends of the
Yeah,
spectrum.
I'm actually
Um,
surprised at how good it's handled.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess before we like get into like any kind of spoiler territory, I kind of want to talk about like the basics of the game first. So in terms of looks, what do you think? How do you think the game is presentation wise, aesthetically? Like, is it does it look good? Does it look what you're looking for? Are
So
you
I
happy
did
with it?
play on the. I'm playing on the PS5, but I did play the demo on the PS4. No, on the
Okay.
Xbox 360. Or I'm sorry. Whoa, Xbox One.
Oh shit! I was like, damn man,
No,
talk about cross generation.
I did play on the Xbox One because when the demo first was launched, it didn't launch first on the PS5 because for some reason like the servers were messed up. So I played it on the Xbox One, and it did not look good to me. So I feel bad for people who's playing this on last gen. But current gen though, uh, I like I like how they kind of blend. It's not really cell shaded, but it's still cartoony looking. It's almost like it's not like Kakarot. What's
I
another
put it
game I can
more
compare it
like
to?
it's like a I don't know. Like less stylized like Borderlands, I guess,
Yeah,
is
that's a
kind of
good
what I'm thinking.
comparison.
Like, you know how
Yeah,
Borderlands is really like distinct lines drawn into it. Take that out and put it a little bit closer to realism, and that's like kind of where this game sits.
yeah,
It looks good though.
yeah. It looks really good. The graphics look good. The presentation is good. The voice acting is good. I like the little things they did with like because I like the little things they did with side quest and talking to NPCs. Like if you talk to
Hmm.
an NPC, their bubble will fade because to let you
Yep.
know that you already talked to this NPC and things of that nature.
Hmm.
There are some other things like the UI. I think they have to kind of work on as far as like questing goes. But that's a minor annoyance. Um, I think they did a good job at I remember when we first saw the Tales of Arise trailers,
Yep.
and
We lost our
I
minds.
can't even yeah, and you remember when they first showed gameplay footage like
Hmm.
long ago that it was kind of like an open world, like you'll be just running up to
Yes.
enemies fighting them. I
Yep.
kind of glad they went back to the other system, but you can tell in certain parts of the game, especially the early part of the game, that they really just wanted you to run up and fight people because the areas are super open. And then as you get further into the game, it becomes like a typical Tales game where like it's not exactly corridory. A lot of the areas are open,
Oh,
but
yeah. Okay.
but once you get later on into the game, it starts to feel corridory like a typical Tales
I
game.
think it already is. I'm in the second region. I'm already feeling that. Like,
Okay, yeah,
so, okay. Um, I agree with you and disagree with you. I think they made the right decision going away from the fighting out in the world, this idea, because I don't think the PS4. I think it was probably out of scope for the PS4 version of the game, but
yeah,
I think unfortunately this game is still. I can't get away from this. That this game does feel like a PS4 game. It is definitely not like a next gen JRPG in what I would expect that to be, you know. It plays super well. It's very responsive, but like what Montrell's talking about with the environment design is just like some of the environments are literally just like a fucking corridor. Like I went through one earlier yesterday or last night. Um and it was like I was walking through a forest and it was literally just a corridor in a forest. Like it was just a
yep,
bunch of like
yep,
you couldn't stray off the path. Like there was like a path you followed and there were like these little side rooms, I'd call them, where it like straight off real quick and there was like a chest or maybe like a group of enemies or something. But there was still a path you had to follow. It's not an open world game. Like
yeah,
not even close to that. I wouldn't describe it like that at all. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but this game, though, the more I play it, the more it screams like Tales of Graces to me. Which I'm sure if some of you have listened to the show for a while know that
You
that's
do not
probably
like
my
that
least
game.
favorite Tales game.
Yeah.
So this game's systems, though, honestly, so far heavily borrow from that game because there's no mana in this game. That this game uses a combo, kind of like an action point system similar to that game. Um, they've refined the system though, and it's much better than what Grace has had, and I'll get into that in a second. But then the other thing is the design of the areas, like the actual environments you walk through, is very
Yeah.
much like Tales of Grace's. Grace's did this same thing. It had very corridory areas, and that they were very small for the most part, and it didn't
But
take
they
very
were
long to get through
designed
them.
Yeah, but they were designed to look big, if that
Yes,
makes
they
any
were.
sense.
That game, yeah, they were. They were in that game for sure. And this game does that as well to a degree. But where this game kind of wins me over versus Graces though is the way it deals with at least healing magic in this game cannot be spammed the way it was in that game. Because
Hmm.
in Graces, magic didn't use anything other than your basically your action points. So you'd cast a spell and say you'd have like 12 action points and it would cost you 4. But the way the action points in that game worked is if you didn't do anything for like a half second, your action points would just recharge. And that happens in this game too. So I don't know how Magic users feel. I kind of need to play around with Renwell to see. But basically, healers could just sit there and spam heal constantly over and over and over and over again with almost no downtime whatsoever. And same with regular casters. They could just sit there and cast their most powerful fucking magic spell over and over and over and never stop casting it because of the way the game's combo system worked, the way that action point system worked. And this game has a similar system to that for physical attacks. I don't know about magic, like I said. I think it
It
still uses the
does.
same thing. I don't know if it can be spammed in the same way though that it could in
It
Graces.
can't. So the most
Okay.
powerful attacks, I can answer that. Your most powerful attacks are charged. You have to hold them.
Okay.
Um, and
Right. You have to combine them
they,
together, right? With Rinwell.
yeah, with
Yeah.
Winterell, and even with like Shion and another character you get later on, they have charge times. So you have to hold the button, but they stand still and leave them very vulnerable for a long amount of time. Maybe like sometime it can take up to 3 seconds to take cast a spell because your cast
Mm-hmm.
time is that long. So that's the trade off for it. You may get a very powerful spell, but that character is standing still. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, later on you can unlock stuff that your character can kind of walk around and cast a spell, but you're still moving around very slow. And enemies will target you when you cast your spell.
Mm-hmm.
So they did fix that. So as far as like healing though, where he was getting into is you have combat points, and your healing takes a certain amount of combat points, and they don't refresh after the battle. The only time they refresh is when you go to a camp and you hit you rest,
Or you
and then
rested
you
it in. There
or
is
you rest at the
food.
end.
There is food you can make through cooking that recharges that combat points after battle, but it doesn't last very long and it doesn't do that much. And you can also use
Exactly.
items to refill it as well. But
And
I
those are super expensive.
yes, they are. I noticed that, dude. I was looking at my inventory and I was like going to sell stuff, and they sell for like 22,000 gold or something, which is a fuck ton at the beginning of the game. Like one of them, it's like
Yeah.
that'll like fully outfit a character at the beginning of the game, that much money. So I like the way they did that because it does make it feel almost a little survivally. With some of the longer dungeons I've done so far, particularly the first like boss you fight.
Yeah.
Um, Towards the end of that, I was really stretching thin on my items and how many combat points I had. I
Hmm.
really needed a rest point, like, and that was cool. I'm sure later in the game it's not as big of a deal, because you have so many of them. But
I mean, the game definitely. Well, I don't know what mode you're playing in, but in hard mode, the game definitely challenges you and stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
yeah,
So
I'm playing on hard too.
okay,
Um,
yeah. So yeah,
but so I like the system. I think the combat itself. So the combat itself is weird, dude. Because it presents as fast just watching it, but in reality, it's fucking hyper slow, in my opinion. Because like
that's
you can
interesting.
move around really quickly, but your attacks are slow and you're locked into them when you're doing them. You cannot animation cancel, as far as I know.
Yeah,
At
you
least
can't. Yeah.
maybe there's an ability you unlock later that lets you, but you cannot animation cancel to dodge. So you have to be a little bit more thoughtful about how you approach attacking enemies. And then enemies have really slow attack patterns for the most part. Most enemies do so far.
Hmm.
And the timing on dodging them is super fucking weird. So the game is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like like comparing it to Devil May Cry is probably one of the like worst things you could possibly
Yeah,
say. It's just
it's
nothing
not
like
like
that.
yeah, it's not like Devil May Cry. I'll akin it more to a faster paced Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas in Kingdom Hearts 1 you can animation cancel out your dodge roll, you
Hmm.
can't in this game at all. You have to like you said, you have to be really strategic with what you're doing. And then later on in the game, you have to learn how to break opponents so that you can continue combo chains and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
Yep.
And that just kind of picks up as you play the game, and it comes natural. Well, it came natural to me. As I started playing the game, I started to even though they explain it to you, it's just good to do it in repetition, and you get it. And I think the game does a really good job at that. Especially the boss fights. The boss fights are very interesting, in my opinion. I know you fought probably two bosses, but
Yeah.
the later ones, when you get, because you're in the frozen region, that boss I think is the boss that you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I gotta really pay attention, because you have to really pay attention to past the flashing lights and all that stuff. You have to really pay attention to the boss
Yeah.
in that fight, and so I'm
Well, the
really
first
interested.
boss is like that too. I he's like so powerful on hard that
Yeah,
there's one
man. Oh my
attack he
goodness.
does. I'm sure you remember him. There's one attack he does where he spins around and he spins his weapon around.
Yep.
And he does it twice in succession, but it's such a slow attack. It's like really hard to dodge if you're in the middle of attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but he like it's like a one shot every time it hit me basically. So it got to the point that I was learning the pattern. I was learning how to perfect dodge it, but also if I was in the wrong position, I just run out of his range
Yeah.
because that was
Yeah.
safer, But
Yeah.
yeah, the bosses so far, that boss, and then that boss was crazy because he's got like two phases. That shit was
Yeah.
fuck. I'm like, what? This is the first boss. What are you guys doing, man? Like, holy shit! Like, because the
that
second
is a
phase of that
gatekeeper
fight,
boss.
yeah, yeah, the second phase of that fight's fucking nuts, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it,
They
he,
they really went out all out for that boss. But
yeah,
no, the other boss fights are like that too, in my opinion. Like they go out all out for their boss fights. That's the thing I like about this game, bro. It's been a while, maybe because I haven't been playing single players games in a while. Uh, but it's been a while since I played a JRPG where the boss is like making me fucking sweat. I'm like, dude,
I mean, you
like
are
what the?
playing on hard, dude. If you play this
Yeah, I
game,
am.
like if you, I'm telling you, man, I was like playing the game, and I'm like, I was like in the early game areas where when you first start the game, the normal enemies when they hit you will like two shot you. That's how weak you are. But you
Yeah,
quickly gain power and level up and get new equipment, and it starts they start doing a lot less damage. But I was like running through one of the early game areas, and I was like, man, this doesn't feel that hard right now. I'm like, if I put this on standard, how mind-numbingly easy would this be at this point for me already? It's like, because like I'm like avoiding enemies because I'm afraid they're like, if they crit me, I'm fucking dead, basically.
yeah,
So I'm trying to avoid every hit imaginable, pretty much. And it's like, if you were playing the game normally, I feel like it probably would be pretty easy where you could just stand there and like take hits, especially
yeah,
with items and everything. Like, I don't think you'd really have to think too much about it. So I'm surprised because Tails games generally on uber hard. I'm sure there's difficulties harder than this when you unlock them later, but even normally, when I played like Symphonia on hard, or very hard, whatever the highest difficulty is at the beginning. Like, dude, I remember that game being a fucking bitch. You'd have to go like level for like an hour plus, just grind levels because you were that fucking weak. You'd get to the boss and your attacks are doing like 10 damage a swing and the boss has like 40k health. Like
Yeah.
fucking
Oh no,
take
yeah,
fucking forever.
the bosses are still damage sponges in this game.
Oh, they
Um,
are for sure. Yeah,
yeah, so but I think that was my major issue with the older Tales games, compared to like this one. For me, this one, the hard mode seems balanced, if that makes any sense.
it
I
does.
don't know,
Yeah,
like the older
it
ones,
feels good.
they were just damage sponges.
It's
They
just
didn't really,
punishing. Like
yeah,
you'd get into a boss encounter because I remember that game and I remember trying it without any modifications. And I remember one of the early bosses in that game. I don't know. I don't remember which one it was. It was like the fourth or fifth boss. And I remember up to that point, I hadn't had a lot of trouble with the game. I was doing okay. And then I got to that boss, and dude, he would just do a basic attack and he was one shotting everybody in the party, you know? And it was like,
yep,
what the fuck? Like what? There were like these huge difficulty walls that were, and I don't know, maybe this game has that, but I haven't seen it yet. You know, it's like I know I was saying the first boss will one shot you, but if you fight him right and you learn the timing, he's not that hard. His first phase is actually pretty easy. It's the second phase that's difficult because there's a second element to the fight they add that really fucking will kill you in 2 seconds if you're not paying attention to it.
yeah,
Um, and so you know it's strategic. You can play it more strategically. Like he has humongous windows where you can attack him, you know.
yeah.
So it's not that bad, but I remember in Symphonia, like, yeah, that boss was like, he was like a fast boss that was like one shotting everyone in the party, and the AI in that game sucked dick. So it was like they couldn't survive and like actually survive him attacking them, you know. So
I
yeah.
will say one thing about this game's AI. They did a really good job. You'll see later on, um, like they know when to dodge and everything of
Man,
that nature.
I don't know, dude. Shion, she dumb.
I don't know.
She's the
I don't know.
party healer, and she is on the ground so much for me. It's annoying.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Man, when she's healing, like she dodges, and even when she's trying to resurrect me, sometimes she's like dodging attacks constantly
Mhm.
left and right.
Yeah.
It's
I've
pretty
seen it,
insane.
but it's like 50-50, I guess, is what I've seen.
Her
There's a lot
AI
of
did
times
bug
where I
out
have to
against
protect
one
her.
boss for me. It was
Yeah.
pissing me off. But yeah, I'm sorry. Keep
Like
going.
the second boss, the wolf boss is like there's a move it does where it charges at you 3 times in a row. And if you're in range, if you get hit by it, it's basically a one shot on hard.
Hmm.
And yeah, when he kept using that move, he was wiping the party except for me. Like the two AI partners were
Okay,
just getting
yeah.
destroyed. Yeah.
So that part, like certain bosses, I did learn to tank it, and what I mean by tanking is I'll swing the boss around the other way of the
Yeah.
opposite side of my party, um, and sometimes it can be hard because sometimes, especially like certain characters will try to get into the boss's face, and you gotta like kind of swing it around or either swap them out and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. The game, it's like hit or miss for me as far as like I don't know. I just think the game's fucking fun. Like it's a really
Hmm.
fun game. It has its issues. I mean, every game does. But one thing I will say about the combat, um, I don't think you get enough options. I didn't really dig into the options of like customizing. Like if this happens, then do this. I think they need entails if they're going to continue to do this style. They need to have better like options, almost like on Dragon Age's level of like
Hmm.
options that we can do or combat commands you can do like if this happens then do this, if this happens then do that, and they need to have that level of detail because this game can be super good if they had that kind of level of detail with certain party members and stuff like that, especially like Shion, like you said, because sometimes she just and I don't like you can't make them target specific monsters. I think they only target either what's near them or what
Really?
Europe. Yeah, you can't make them target specific monsters.
Huh.
You can make them target like you can say like the lowest HP monster or something like that. I think you can still do that. I haven't really dug into it, but I really hadn't seen a need for it. But there were certain battles where I'm like, I need y'all to just focus on this one target, and I think it's just like an AI thing because normally when I'm like focusing one target, I know that target's a threat in the field. They will all kind of naturally converge towards that target for me and like help me kill it. Um, Other than that, yeah, I mean the AI is like a standard JRPG. I want them to get better with their AI, and I'm assuming because of the technology. it's kind of running off of. They couldn't put that many AI commands in it, but I'm assuming in like the next gen versions of Tails or whatever, um, they're gonna put more commands because the system will be able to handle it.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, obviously, more is better with those kind of systems. I haven't dug into it either because I haven't felt a need to so far. But
Yeah.
um, I guess we'll see later in the game. I'm sure there's some end game slash side bosses that are going to be fucking insanely hard. So
Yeah,
I'm
and this
sure we'll.
game's insanely fucking long, bro. Like insanely long.
Well,
There's
so
one point
okay,
in the game I thought I was done, and it's
yeah.
like, nah, you're not done.
No,
This is
okay.
this is the main game.
Let's get into
Like I'm like,
Let's get into spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers for this game, skip ahead. But
yes, skip ahead like 20 minutes or something like that.
yeah, something like that. I don't know if it'll be that long, but so okay, Montrell. This is my assumption. The game presents 5 regions, right? At the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
The world Dana has 5 regions, and the early game, the goal is to go to each region and kill the Lord in each region, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm assuming you accomplish at some point. Maybe there's some weird twists and turns in there, at different points, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess that's the point you got to. Is you got to the end of that quest, whatever that quest is, and then
Yep.
I'm assuming this is
It
my
does
assumption. You're gonna
a
go
typical
to
Tails
you're going
thing.
to Lenegis, which is the satellite planet of Rena, and then if you want to go even further, I'm kind of guessing you go to Rena in some capacity too. Um,
So I haven't. So I did do your main objective because I don't want to spoil it for you either. Um,
Yeah.
there is
I
some
mean,
kind of
the
event that
game
happened.
projects this though. It feels really predictable because they talk about Lenegis a lot, and I'm like,
Yeah,
and Rena,
yeah.
and I'm just like, there's no way this game isn't going to send you there with all the intrigue that would happen with Shion and the whole party so far. Even the characters I don't know, I'm sure there's more with those, but like just Shion herself is such a mystery.
Well, there
Like,
is an interesting event that happens with Lenegis and your main character. There's an interesting twist there.
mhm.
Um, and some things do happen. And I'm at the part where they're like, yeah, they're pretty much trying to gear up to maybe potentially go to Lenegis. I don't know yet. Like I haven't got that far because I've been trying to like clear all my main quest on if I am going to another planet,
Subquest, yeah.
all my sub quest on Donna. So yeah, I think your prediction is spot on. That's the vibe I'm getting for it because
Mhm.
whatever. But
Right. I have no
um
idea what's going to happen within that, but
yeah,
like in terms of where the plot is ultimately going to lead the party, that feels like like an obvious guess.
yeah, yeah,
Um because like there's just so much to mine for the game there lore-wise. Like how do these people live? Like what are they doing? Like why are they fucking oppressing this whole planet? It's like, so
yeah.
I'm sure all those answers will come, and it it just feels natural for a Tales game. But that in and of itself though means that this game is fucking massive because I'm in the second region, and I feel like I'm actually, I just got to the capital. I think yesterday is where I left off. I was like in the region, like the area that is the capital,
Yeah.
finally for the second region, and I'm like, man, there's 3 more of these, and then I'm gonna potentially go to 2 other planets as well. Like, there's a lot of shit in this fucking game, dude.
I will
Um,
say in this game you do pay off by exploring the off paths,
mhm.
especially in hard mode. Like they give you items, you're like, oh, thank fucking god, I got this item or
Oh,
whatever.
well,
So
the stat boosters, and then yeah, there's equipment that you get.
yeah, and like even just regular item consumables, like I'm just like,
True.
thank God,
Life
because I'm
bottles.
broke as shit.
Life bottles, dude. Life bottles are
Yeah,
1,000 each. I mean, fuck, dude. I'm using that shit. I'm using that shit like I'm like using it like it's water, dude. Like I
really?
said,
Well,
Shion's on the ground all the time. Well, she's the only one who resurrects. So if she goes down, like I have to bring her back up in case I go down.
damn,
Um,
I wonder what you're doing with her because my Shion is just like she's really good. Like she doesn't really die
I don't
that
know. I'm not
often.
doing anything with her. The AI's playing her, man. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I wonder what's
It's
going on
like
with
it's
your
not every
AI.
battle. I'm not saying in regular battles she's dying all the time. It's really the big boy battles, like the boss battles and
Yeah.
The giant Zoogle battles, like those are the ones she's struggling with for sure. Because yeah, if the boss targets her and she's like in the middle of a cast, she doesn't. Sometimes she dodges and sometimes she doesn't. So
Yeah.
and
Usually to
like
help her dodge, I use her strike or her burst attack. So if I know the enemy's about to attack her, I'll just be like burst attack. That way it instantly teleports her next to me. If that
right.
makes any sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I haven't been saving those necessarily for those exact moments a lot because I haven't
Mm.
a need to. I'm really trying to like maximize combos. I'm trying to get that 100 hit combo already. Which I'm sure is probably close to unobtainable at the point I'm at right now. But the highest I've gotten, I think, is 75. So I've gotten
Okay.
close.
Cool.
But it's the combo system's weird too because I'll like be hitting an enemy and they're broken and like the party's hitting them and then all of a sudden the combo just resets even though there's no breakage in our attacks. It
Well, I
seems a
think it's like
little.
the enemy recovery. It's like an enemy recovery, hit and recovery thing that goes
Mhm.
on. I noticed that, and you start to see it later on. Like there's like the enemies recover really quickly sometimes.
Yeah.
So it depends on like the stun duration of the attack and how long does it put them in that state to be combo. Because there's sometimes I can hit an enemy like a whole second later and I'm still comboing them. So it just depends
Mhm.
on the attack that you're using and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I got to learn that for sure. But yeah. I mean, what's your feeling on the story so far though? Do you think it's like in terms of the story, not characters, but like how does it hold up against like Vesperia or even Symphonia?
For me, it does. Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying the story so far. There are some typical things that happen, and there are some unexpected things that happen. And I'm like, oh, okay, I
Mhm.
didn't see that coming. But yeah, I just like the overall the arching story and everything of that nature. You're the liberator, but then there's like certain things where that comes up during the story, and you're like, I gotta really be, I gotta really think about, they have to really think about their next moves and stuff of that nature. Um, and then there's one event that happens, or not one event, but there are several things that happen that you see and the other characters don't see. And then
Mhm.
other characters point that out. And it was a very like, it wasn't a fourth wall moment, but it was a very surreal moment. I'm like, oh, okay. Because they
Yeah.
say some of the things that you would say, like, yeah, I just assume that too. And yeah, they kind of threw me for a loop. So that just like way you'll get to that part too later on in the game. But
Mhm.
um yeah, that part really threw me for a loop and everything of that nature. So um I'm interested in seeing what Lennigus holds and all the secrets of that. And I'm still I think the Renans are very interesting people because I really want to know why they're doing this. Like even some of the Renans don't know why this is happening because this is like 300 years later, so they're just like they inherited this shit.
Mhm.
um
Right.
but yeah, it's very interesting when you start to dive into their culture story wise, and you're like, so you guys don't even really know, what's going on or whatever the case may be, or anything of that nature, or you guys do know, but you're not going to tell anybody or whatever the case. So
Mhm.
it's very interesting to see the inner politics in the Renans. And it's very interesting to see it's it's almost like a very, I don't want to say real world situation, but like certain characters will react how characters will react in real world situations. And I know you said story, but it's like all encompassing. I can't
Mhm.
compare one
Yeah. No,
without the
I know. You,
other.
you can go wherever you want.
Yeah. So it's just really weird how that happens. Because they're like, obviously I compare it to like real world stuff, right? You can't hate if as a black person, you can't hate every white person, right? But the kid in that game, sorry, I was trying to kill a fly. In that
Get him.
game, they try to like certain characters try to have these conversations, and they have really deep philosophical conversations about like, yeah, you can't hate every Renan you run across, and some of them are just like living their
Yeah,
lives, and then
Rinwell, you can't hate
yeah,
every Renin you run across. Well,
yeah,
there's a poignant moment where somebody says like basically like you can't put the sins of their society all at the feet of one person, you know? It's like, and that's true, you know, even if that person is
like benefiting
part
from
of it
that.
or
Yeah,
benefiting in some way. Yeah, exactly. It's still that's still a true statement, you know. And
yeah,
I think it's an interesting lens to look at it through because I think in the real world there is a lot of people who do that exact thing. They will put these sins of a group of people on whatever person that is part of that group that they are interacting with at a specific moment, you know?
yeah,
And
yep,
that is an extremely like toxic and naive way to operate, you know. um it and this goes all around, but it's like it I don't know. I think it's a good thing to think about, and I like that a game is like kind of tackling the topic in a mature way, you know. I wouldn't expect it from a Tales game, I guess.
yeah.
You know,
That's
it's
and I think that's what makes it so unique because
yeah.
honestly, even when Final Fantasy tried to tackle something like this, they like 14, for example, they try to tackle it, and it was actually a good story, but they didn't tackle it the way I thought they would tackle it. In some
Mhm.
parts of the story of 14, and even in earlier games, I think they try to do the same thing. But like my comparison for everyone, uh, what's his name in Final Fantasy 10? Waka.
Yeah.
How you know how fucking like I don't want is he
Oh yeah,
racist?
he
Yeah, how
hates.
racist
He
he is.
is. Yeah, he is racist. I forgot about
Yeah,
that, man.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of on Winrell's level of like she's almost there. I don't like Waka really doesn't change throughout the game. Like he doesn't come to terms
I
with
mean,
things.
he like gets a little better, but it's not anywhere
He,
near where it probably needed to be. You know.
so they're in the same like if it was like a pie chart, right? Or not a pie chart, but like one of those graphs where you got four lines and you got um each corner represents like a personality or whatever. You know what I'm trying to
Mhm.
say. They would probably be on the same side, but on two different like he would be on the like lower education side and she's on the higher education side. So it's like she's highly educated. You can tell she's highly educated. She knows all about Dannon culture and what's going on, but she still has that prejudice against that's like holding her back, right? And then Waka
Mhm.
on one side, like he's very friendly, but he's not. He's like a jock, but he's still very racist on his.
He's like a deep like Arkansas, rural Arkansas person that's like really nice to you on the surface, and then you find out they're a fucking absolute racist. Like, you know,
Yeah, yeah, and
that's you
she's
know.
like a a liberal lefty who's like, oh, this is like a perfect tweet. Like, who's a liberal lefty, but then says shit like, "Wow, you mean Mexico has better women's rights than us? What are we doing?" And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Or
So,
or
so
she
Mexico
says
can?
like, you know, or she says like, uh, you know, I wish all blank would die, you know, or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Like that's how
yeah,
extreme she is, you know. Like she's I don't know.
yeah.
It's
She
not
doesn't
like
see the
that
nuance.
crazy, but like she doesn't she fucking hates them. Like
Y-
there's no room in her head at the beginning for anything else, you know, with
Yeah,
relation to Renan. So
yeah. And yeah, I mean, and the Renans are fucking terrible people. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, you come across like some that are not like that, and obviously Shion just doesn't fucking care. She has her reasons for what she's doing and everything of that nature. I think the one interesting character is Zephyr.
okay, I have a question about him.
Hmm.
Does he ever become a permanent party member or no?
I'm not answering that for you.
I don't think he
Um,
does.
so
I'm assuming he doesn't. But he's fucking cool. I fucking like him because he's like he's the resistance leader in the first region that pretty much wrangles you into the conflict. But he's very I guess wise is the word.
yeah, yeah,
He just
he.
he
You can
doesn't.
tell he lived a long life.
Yes, and he doesn't assume things about people based off their immutable characteristics. Like
Yeah.
he's the one telling everybody to calm the fuck down. Shion's a Renin, yeah, but she's not like she's literally helping us fucking liberate our people. Like calm the fuck down. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So I mean, and then even when like yeah, then he talks to Shion and like Shion's like sometimes she acts really smug about things. He's like, okay, listen, these are my people. They don't have the benefit that you have, so I need you
yeah.
to like work with them. Um,
Well, he's like the mentor for the whole party because
yeah,
there'll be moments where there's like a campfire scene early in the game where Shion and Alphen are talking, and he kind of like criticizes both of them, and they're
yeah,
both kind of like
exactly.
they're both really receptive to it though. It's weird. Like Shion's kind of a cold bitch at the beginning, but like I mean she is. But for some reason Zephyr though, like she really like kind of defers to his experience and wisdom. She's
Yeah,
like
because he
she
can kind of
listens to him.
see, he can see through it. Like I
Yeah,
think he can just see through it. He understands like she has these thorns, and I'm not spoiling anything. You can't touch the girl because she'll shock you with with her thorns, like these electrified thorns that are inside of her.
right.
So,
He has empathy. Like he
yeah, he
he
has.
sees he's looking through the world through her eyes. Like why
Yeah,
is she the way she is? It kind of makes sense. Like people can't even touch her without fucking dying. It's like
exactly.
I mean that is gonna shape the way you interact with people.
Yeah. So, um, I don't know. I think the game they did a really good job with the. I think they got some help with the writing. Usually, Tales games they do really good job with like writing characters and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but this is like the second time because Vesperia did this where the characters are like very human.
Yeah.
They're not anime. Like I
Yeah.
always point to Yuri when he did what he did on the bridge that one time, and you did not expect it. You're like, oh shit, he really just fucking did that.
Well, okay, so I know you don't like this game as much as me, but I feel like mostly Zilia mostly has a lot of that too. I think there's one character in particular where she's hyper anime and I fucking hate her, but everyone else in the party, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the party is really down to earth and cool. It's like they feel like people. Like,
Yeah, I like Jude. Jude was really cool.
yeah, right. And I know some of the other party members in that game too, like, are also in that same vein, but
Yeah,
it's
they
not
have
as
a
good
lot of
as
nuance to them.
Vesperia. But
Yeah, yeah.
then you get to Graces, and
Oh, it's super
the
anime.
characters in that game are awful, awful.
Well, like I like Vesperia, right? Because Yuri does one thing. You have this one little guy, Carol, who's like looking up to Yuri, and he
Oh
does this
yeah,
one thing, and then Carol's like, I can't, like it shattered his hopes and dreams of who Yuri was, and then Yuri had to tell him like, listen, I'm just a regular dude, and you're gonna have to pretty much get fucking used to it. Like that, I
hmm
live by my own rules. I'm not anyone's knight in shining armor. And I feel like in this game, you encounter those moments a lot too. Like things are there's a lot of gray in a lot of instances. You're like, oh, okay. Like, because
yeah.
you come across Danons who are fucking assholes and everything of that nature. So I think the game maybe they got the Tales writers, I mean the Vesperia writers back because this game's written really well.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's still typical anime shit, but the nuance of the characters and everything like that, you can tell they really took time to flesh out the characters instead of just going typical anime.
Fair enough. All right, it ended up being about 20 minutes of spoilers, so I hope they did fast forward 20 minutes.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll have more to say about Tails as we play it more. I'm just starting really, and Montrell's who knows, he might only be halfway. Um, so we'll God, who could that's on like unfathomable.
In my defense, if you're playing on normal, it probably would be like half the time.
You'd be
I
done with
am
the game by
farming.
now.
Yeah, I'm farming and I'm doing
Boss
other
fights
stuff in
take
there.
like 4 tries,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
the
So,
first boss took me a lot. I'd say 5 to 10 probably to
oh,
beat
don't
him.
don't even feel bad. It took me a lot too. All of them took me a
Yeah.
lot.
The second boss though, I beat that boss in one try.
The wolf boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't really count that as I count that as a
Yeah,
sub
he's more
boss.
like a giant Zoogle fight,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll see with the second Lord if it's as challenging as the first. It sounds like it is. But all right, let's move on to the news, Montreal. We're an hour into the show. I gotta
Yeah.
eat.
Sorry, guys.
I'm fucking starving. No, this is an old school show. This is an old school show. We've been playing MMOs for the last 4 months, Montreal. Like, what the fuck? We've had nothing to talk about. We haven't been talking about the games we're playing because it's been the same game every week. It's like
Yeah.
so. I hope this is refreshing for people. So we're gonna have your 2 hour show lined up, everybody. All right, Montreal. Let's get into the news. We got a few things to talk about, and I want to get through them. First one is a follow up on the China story from a few weeks ago, where they were restricting the playtime of minors for online games. Well, this kind of expanded last week. It's not a full on ban, it sounds like, of new game releases. However, the Chinese government is deliberately slowing down game approvals in order to enforce the rules that they put in place at the end of last month for minors. So this is having an effect on new game releases in China to this point that it's not a ban, but it feels like that for
Yeah.
certain companies. So what are your feelings on this, Montreal?
This is China's Achilles heel. Like, I think this is going to draw a lot of companies away from them, and it's going to drop the stock market. Um, I think they're making their bed or they're digging their grave and they're about to lay in it. As far as like economy wise or having a leg up on America, this was their one time to show other countries like, yo, we are better than America as far as handling companies and corporate America. And I wouldn't
Yeah.
say this is their one time to get corporate America, and I feel like now they're slowly like, we were at the peak in like 2017, 2018, and now the peak is starting to come down.
Yeah.
And I think a
Yeah.
lot of companies actually may reconsider putting all their investments in China, if that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's like we've been saying, dude. They have complete control over their nation, their economy, everything related to operating the country. And they're gonna do things like this. It's just what they do, man. They like they something pisses them off and they're like, no, we're not allowing that anymore. And they're doing it with like certain types of entertainers as well in the country right now. It is what it is. So you know what, I don't feel bad for any of these video game companies. Okay, they should have known what the fuck they were getting into when they decided to start taking Chinese money and start investing in China so heavily and relying on it. If this kind of stuff is hurting you to the point where you're not making enough revenue, that's on you, man. Like there were other avenues you could have explored, and you decided to explore a country that could literally ban your game at any moment. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to say for me, but we'll keep monitoring the story. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, the big news, and I did mention this last week, was Epic versus Apple concluded a couple weeks ago, and there was a verdict, and it was kind of halfway in the middle of what everybody wanted on both sides. So the judge, Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers, concluded that Apple isn't a monopoly in the space of mobile apps and specifically video games in the mobile space. However, she ordered Epic to pay the damages for violating the developer agreement as well.
Okay.
And however, she did also order Apple to remove its anti-steering rules, which are policies banning developers from telling users about alternatives to Apple's in-app purchases. So meaning they can put links in their apps that point to other ways to pay for whatever in-app purchases or the game itself. And which is interesting. So it's halfway, because she also said that Apple was fully within its rights to throw Epic off the store, to close their developer account, all that. And that has actually was appealed and I think upheld recently. So Epic is fucked. They're just not like Fortnite is off Apple products. Period. It's not on iOS. It's not on Mac OS. It is done. It ain't coming back. Apple's like, get fucked, like pretty much. And they told them specifically, like, unless the court orders us to put it back in the store, we ain't putting it back in the store. So Apple won in that sense, but they lost in the sense that companies or whoever developers can put pointers to their own purchasing paths for users. So how does that did you think what do you think about all that, Montrell? Did you think it would shake out this way?
No, I did not at all. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was going to be some kind of like everyone kind of wins type thing, but sorry, I got allergies. But yeah, like
All good.
I didn't think it was gonna go this way. I didn't think Epic had the balls to pull their stuff off the store, and they did. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well, and that
actually,
would be upheld.
yeah,
It's funny, man. You know.
I'm actually impressed by Epic, to be honest with you. Like they're actually going through with taking their stuff off the store. It's not, maybe it is more just about more than just money for them. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, so I've been following this a lot, obviously. I mean, this is a big story. This has wider ramifications than just video games. But this judge, throughout this entire court case, has shown she is very educated on the environment that these companies operate in, and I was supremely impressed with that. Like to the point that I mean, there were some points in the case where she was asking questions that I was like, God damn! Like she was asking very pointed questions to both companies about everything they do, and some of it was unrelated to the case, honestly, but she was really grilling them. And the idea that she came to this conclusion actually isn't a surprise to me based off that. I think she recognizes that there's issues on both sides of the equation. That because I think she said somewhere, the article we're reading is from The Verge. It's kind of summarizes the whole case and kind of the fallout of it. She said that currently Apple doesn't have a monopoly in mobile gaming, but she says that they do have too much power in mobile gaming, but it's not something within the law that the law can currently do anything about. Like she said basically iOS and Android have a duopoly, but that's okay. Like we can have that, you know?
Yeah,
Um but so she recognized that Apple's kind of got issues. She also said too that Apple doesn't respond to like anyone asking them to change anything unless a court or some kind of law, an entity with legal power tells them to. That's the only time they make changes. And she's told them that that is also a problem that is something that will come back to bite them in the future if they continue to be as rigid as they are all the time. So I don't know. I actually think this is a good result because I think it put a spotlight on Apple's practices, but it also didn't reward Epic for acting like a baby at the beginning.
yeah,
Because I think they acted in the wrong way. They broke their contract. They signed a contract and they broke it. And there are ramifications to that. And I'm okay with them having to deal with that, like having to pay the fines. But the fact that Apple doesn't come out of this clean is also a good thing, I think. And I like the fact that it's not going to make a dent in Apple's profits. Like being able to point to outside payment sources is when that's next to paying within the game. I'm 95% of people are just going to pay in the fucking game. You know, they're not going to
yeah,
care. So it's not really going to dent Apple probably in the long run, but it's a start at least in discussing these situations. I think it's nice that she hedged enough that this isn't a precedent in either direction really. And I think there's enough room here that if another case was brought up, it would have to be kind of deliberated specifically to that case. This is going to be a reference point for sure, but it's kind of just the beginning. I think we will see more movement with this in the future. So,
All right, sounds good. You nailed that shit. I can't even.
all right, man. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
know
nailed
we're
that
not
shit.
we're not law experts. We're not lawyers. I mean, we're doing our best with this. It is really important stuff to cover, but I don't think the ramifications in this particular instance are actually that large. So there's not a lot of reason to go like hyper deep with it, if I'm being honest. So, all right.
Yeah, I think this is just a instance of two big baby companies are now having to face, the realities of their consequences. And yeah, I
Mhm.
agree with you. I kind of figured, actually, I thought this was going to be like, I kind of figured it was going to end in Apple's favor, but it didn't. It kind
Yeah,
of
right.
was
I kind
like,
of think Epic came out a little bit ahead.
yeah,
Um, but the fact that Fortnite's not going to be on Apple products anymore, though, is a big blow for them.
yeah,
Like,
that is.
that's not negligible. So I mean, it's pretty even overall. But all right, let's move on. Follow up on the Activision Blizzard stuff that went on a few weeks ago. Just a small update. The SEC is now investigating Activision Blizzard, and Bobby Kotick has been subpoenaed. Um, they are looking for communications that he specifically sent to other executive leaders in relation to some of these allegations. So there's not much more than that, but it is an interesting thing. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to result in a whole lot, but Activision Blizzard's in the spotlight, and
Yeah,
they
and
don't
a
seem to
lot
be
of
doing a
people are
lot
just
to get out of
leaving,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people are leaving the company.
Oh
And
yeah. Yep.
I tweeted out earlier today, I think Blizzard's like, after Diablo 4 comes out, and if it does come out, I think Activision's going to absorb them. I think there's not going to be a Blizzard anymore.
I mean, they already did absorb them. They merged. Like, they are one company. It's just that Blizzard has retained their like name and their
Yeah.
status within the industry. And I wouldn't be surprised by what you're saying though, that they
They-
expunge the Blizzard name and
Yeah,
just
yeah, that's what I meant.
change
Yeah,
the name of
yeah.
the studio. They make it like Activision Anaheim or whatever, or Irving. I think they're in Irving, California. They just change it to something generic like that because Blizzard's name at this point is like mud. You know, it ain't worth much.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it, but people are very forgetful when you do a name change. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested in seeing what happens with this with Activision, or I'm sorry, with Blizzard in general, because this is very
Yep.
like, this is like a cascading effect, and I didn't think it was when we first reported on it like we were fucking reporters. When we first talked about it,
Yeah.
I feel like we are sometimes, fuck, because no one else be talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Uh, when we first talked about it, I felt like it was gonna get swept under the rug, like no one was gonna care, but it just continues to keep going. So
Right. It keeps getting worse.
yeah,
But all right, Montrell. All right. All those stories, they're good stories, but this is the meat. Okay. We're getting to the real meat and potatoes of the show here. We had a fucking Nintendo Direct today. It was announced yesterday, and it wasn't bad. Let's get into it. All right. So, started out with, what did I tell you? Monster Hunter Rise is getting a G rank expansion next summer.
we both said this. We both said this.
Bro,
We didn't say.
you know,
I didn't say next summer though. I said like in 2 years.
I mean, I didn't say that either, but I think I said a year actually, didn't I? So, which is close. Like, it's pretty close. But Montreal, how many Monster Hunter games now have you lived through where people report that there's going to be no G rank expansion, and then there's a G rank expansion? This is the model, guys. They're always going to do this until it doesn't sell. They're always going to do this. So all those little articles being like, oh, there's rumors that they might not do a G rank expansion for Monster Hunter Rise. This might be fuck off. It's not like they're going to do one. Like that's just it's what they do. Okay, like until the game comes out and it has 10 ranks of armor and 3 different ranks of hunts, like
next time I learned my lesson. I'm not gonna buy as much as they may look cool. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool. I am gonna wait. I'm
I
legitimately
told
gonna
you.
wait.
This is what I told you. This is my strategy with Monster Hunter. And you guys all got super fucking hyped and jumped right in. And the game was hyper disappointing because there just wasn't enough content. We literally didn't even have rank 7 fucking weapons and armor in the game at the beginning when it came out. It's like the game was like not finished, you know? And I'm like, I fucking told you guys. I literally was like, I don't want to play this game right now because it's just not gonna have enough shit in it. And I was 100%. I was totally proven right. And we're gonna play this. Sunbreak is what it's called. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and this is going to be fucking excellent. It's going to be amazing. It's gonna blow our brains out. We're gonna be losing our fucking minds at how much content's in the game because that's what they do every time. That's what they do every time. I never. I'm like I'm with you. I'm done buying these games before the G rank expansion comes out because I felt this way about World too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to play the game twice. I want to play it once, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
that's
agree
what
with
I'm gonna
you.
do. That's what I'm gonna do from here
I
on
agree
out.
with you.
I don't care if you guys buy it. Okay,
It,
I'm gonna tell you this next time too. When you and Andy and fucking everyone's like, oh, you fucking do Monster Hunter World 2. Oh God, oh, you have a fucking Tyrannosaurus pterodactyl. Oh shit, like you know, like fucking dude. Just wait for G rank, okay? The game will be much better.
I agree with you. I agree with you. You got me there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried because next year we're gonna do the same fucking shit that we did with fucking World. Everyone else is gonna drop World 2 or Iceport. We're gonna go like 300 hours deep into this shit.
Me and you, we're not even gonna talk to our significant others or whatever the fuck, our friends. Jet's not even gonna know who I am anymore. She's gonna be like, dude, I haven't seen you on Apex. I'm gonna get fucked, Jet. I'm killing fucking I'm killing fucking Valstrax, bro. Like I gotta get my Valstrax armor, man. Fucking.
I usually do that with Monster Hunter myself, but since I'm playing by myself, I break out of it. It's so much more toxic when you have someone else with you.
Dude, me and you, we've never done anything as hard together as that. Like that month and a half with Iceborne was bonkers. I think about it now and it's so funny to me because like we don't play stuff that much together. Like you get on every once in a while. I'm on every night, but I don't always play either. And but that month and a half, dude, it was literally like we would go to work because we worked together at the time, and we go home, and I just get on the game, and then I'd invite you to a party, and then we just go until we went to bed, and that was it. Every night we did that every night for 6 weeks. It was insanity. It was like just like we didn't talk to anyone else. I didn't get on Discord. I didn't play any other games. Like it was literally just Monster Hunter. Like so you're right. I am afraid of that. But
and I'll let you guys know how bad it was. I moved, and we were playing Monster Hunter, and I jumped right back on after we got done moving. That's how bad it was.
Oh my god! Yep. Hey man, nah, it was fun.
It was worth it though. Yeah, it was
a hell of a fun time. That you know what's funny about it is like every Monster Hunter game, I feel like I get a little bit deeper into G rank than I did on the last one because like Generations was the first one that I like really I got all the way to the end. Like I killed the end enemy, like the end monster or whatever in that game and like quote beat the game. And then World, we did that, and then we continued playing after that. And I've never done that with Monster Hunter before, to the point that we were like farming sets of armor and weapons, you know, and shit. Like I've never done that with Monster Hunter, and we didn't make it all the way though. We petered out, you know, at some point after that. And I'm betting you with this one, we're gonna go all the way, man. We're going all the way. I'm gonna have a fire set, a fucking lightning set, a water set, or whatever the fuck.
And this is why I feel bad for the guys, right? Because me and Justin got so good, y'all, that we didn't even team up with two other members. We had a system where we just knew each other. We had hunting down to a pack. It
Yeah,
was
man.
just, it was, whew, it was like Batman and Robin. It was just, we were just out there, and
Mhm.
man, it
Dude, we
was a
were
good
playing
time.
Rise, right? We were playing Rise. Like me and Montrell are Monster Hunter veterans, right? Jet was playing with us. Snake started getting into it. Andy played with us too, and like Andy's a veteran as well. So like the three of us would be hunting, and then like one, like say it would be like me and Montrell, and then like Jet and Snakes would get in. And like Jet and Snakes are getting thrown around like rag dolls, and me and Montrell aren't even getting hit, or just like I'm like not even paying attention. I'm fucking murdering the monster with dual blades, and I'm like, I was just like, it's like they're like struggling, and I'm like, it's okay, we got it. He's
Well, you
dead.
know what's funny about that? Like, sometimes they would get surprised too when I would be fighting a monster, and I'm like, all right, just go fight it. And they're like, well, we need to, gather material. I'm like, cool, go fight the monster. Like, this is what me and Justin used to do. Like, one of us will fight the monster, or we would just gather material, the materials we need to gather, and then we'll fight the monster. Like, we wouldn't immediately go run to the monster and try to kill it or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, right. And like, well, there would be times too where one of us would go straight for the monster and the other one would be gathering, and it just like I'd be like, I mean, I trust him not to die. Like he'll be fine. He'll be able to fight it on its own. And vice versa. Same with me. It's like so.
Yeah.
It's just the game's funny. It's fun to play with new players, like newer players that aren't like super experienced, because yeah, it's like we're like doing shit and they're like, I didn't even know you could do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, you can like do this weird thing. I don't even remember. I can't think of this. Oh, this like the Superman dive or whatever, because the game doesn't teach you that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's fun. We'll definitely be playing Rise Sunbreak, but um, you know, I just man, we got to get the guys into it this time, all right, Montreal, to the point that like they go as hard as we do, because
Yeah.
they kind of
Yeah.
outlasted me. I think I petered out on Rise first.
No, it was me. It was me. I
Oh,
petered
actually,
out
it was
first.
you. It was
Yeah, I
you.
was
That's right.
done.
You went
I was
hyper
so
hard,
I was
dude.
so mad at the game. I just stopped playing
Yeah,
it.
you got to
Yeah.
you got to rank 6. I think 6 star is what it was,
Yeah.
and you were like, "This is it. This is the game." And then we were all way behind you, and we caught up. And then I got there, and I got ahead of you actually. And I was like, and you were like, "Does it get any better?" And I was like, "Nope. This is the game, Montreal." You know, There's not even red weapons in the game. You can't even make rarity 7 weapons yet. And then they added a couple with the first patch, and then the second batch added a couple
Yep.
more. It's like, what the fuck, man? What are we doing, Capcom? So everybody out there, learn the lesson now. Buy the G rank version, okay?
Yes, and I'm guaranteed they're going to have a version, a release version, a retail version of Sunbreak. I guarantee
Oh
you.
yeah, it'll
So,
have both the DLC and the main game in it. Yeah, for sure.
yep.
And it'll be $60.
Yep.
So just wait, just be patient. You don't even have to wait that long. It's like a year and like some change.
Yep.
Summer 2022. It's like a year and 3 months after the game came out. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I think World was like 2 years, wasn't it?
It was almost 2 years. It was a year and a half, like straight year and a half. Like it came out
Okay.
in September, I think, of whatever year that was, which was a year and a half after World came out.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that was the first. That was just the first game, guys. That was shown at the direct. Okay, so the next game was Mario Party Superstars. They showed us a little bit more of this, and they showed some of the maps. They're bringing back 5 maps from the N64 games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't show any more than that, so we don't know if they're bringing back more than 5 maps total. I would kind of hope so, but knowing Nintendo, they're just like, whatever, just package 5 old maps and put some mini games in it and make it look good, and they'll buy it. Knowing Nintendo, that's kind of probably what they did. So,
I
um,
will say these maps still look incredibly small. Like the one they're showing in the picture in the article just looks
yeah,
fucking small
Horrorland.
as
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Well, what I'm gonna say though here is they've like remade the maps. They're not the old map layout. Like they're a
Yeah.
completely new layout. So maybe that's why we're only getting 5, because it's like the theme of the map is what they're bringing back, but the actual map itself is totally different from the one in the original game, like that it
Yeah.
comes from. So, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're bringing mini games back too, though. Like a lot of the mini games they showed are just recycled from the old games.
Yeah, but
Um,
I don't know. I just like the hugeness of the maps, if that makes any sense. Like I don't know. It seemed like the N64 versions and the Wii versions were fucking huge, or the GameCube versions. The
GameCube, yeah.
maps were fucking huge. I don't. Maybe it wasn't, but it just seemed like that. If I go back and
Some of
play, I'm
them
pretty
were.
sure. Yeah.
Some of them definitely were. I mean, are you gonna get this? Because I mean, this is definitely something we could play together.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely. If we all get it, yeah, I'm definitely down to
Dude,
play it.
I'm so down to play Mario Party with you guys. The antics that would happen in this game would just be so fucking funny. Like,
Yeah,
dude, Mario Party is one of the funniest games to play because people get so fucking mad about it. And
especially when you steal stars.
oh my god. Oh, absolutely. And it's almost all luck. It's almost all luck, man. It's almost all luck. I'd say it's 80% luck. And like the funny part about it though is like it's 80% luck and I would like win like 90% of the time when I play with my family and they would get so mad at me. They're like, "How are you winning this game every time? Like how is that possible?" And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I win the mini games. I don't know what to say. Like shit. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if everybody gets it because I think everybody has a Switch in the group. So
Yeah, except for Snakes.
no,
He
he
doesn't have
has
one.
one. He got one for
Oh, he has one?
Rise.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Fuck, yeah.
Yeah,
All
so
right, yeah.
he has one. It's been languishing on a shelf.
Yeah, mine's
So
is I haven't touched mine in forever, so.
of course it's only a 4-player game, so maybe we'll just exclude him. No, it's probably Andy who won't get it. So, but yeah, so that's coming out on October 29th. Is when that's coming out. Next game they showed, I actually talked about this game last week because it was just announced last week, is Voice of Cards The Isle Dragon Roars by Square Enix, and it is an RPG that is totally card based. Like everything in it is cards. Even the areas you traverse are cards. And it's being made by Yoko Taro and Yosuke Saito, but Yoko Taro is the creator of Drakengard and Nier. So I was highly interested in this game by that fact, but now they've actually shown us the game and shown us a little gameplay, and this looks like a cute little game, man. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I'm definitely intrigued. It's actually got a demo out today, and it's coming out on October 28th, which is very soon, much sooner than I thought. So, did this one interest you at all, Montrell?
Unfortunately, it's one of those games that I think I'm gonna skip. But I think it is designed for like the hardcore card RPG people. And I'm actually excited that companies are putting money and funding into like niche games like this. So that gives me hope for niche games that I like. So I'm glad that you guys are getting something like this, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah, yeah. No, it looks good. I mean, dude, I'm like sitting here though, like Nintendo doing this today. There were like a bunch of games on here that are coming out really soon that I'm like, fuck, I kind of want to play all of these. And I'm like,
yeah.
fuck, I can't. I don't have the time. Also don't have the money to buy all these fucking games, man. Like shit. Too much good shit coming. It's going to be rough. The next few months are going to be really rough for our wallets. I'm just saying it right now.
Yeah.
Next game shown was Disco Elysium Final Cut. It's coming in early. It's coming October 22nd, and then there's a physical. That's the digital version. The physical version is coming in early 2022. This is a very popular game. I think it won some Game of the Year awards the year it came out a couple of years ago. I'm not. It looks interesting. It's just a game. I just don't have room for it, right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I totally understand that.
yeah. So, but if you're excited about that, check it out on Switch. Next game is they showed Hyrule Warriors, the second expansion pass DLC. I kind of skipped this section. I don't know if you watched any of it, Montreal, but I'm sure it's more Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I skipped it myself. So,
And then the next game, I can't believe is real.
No,
making.
No, we called this, but we say Kingdom Hearts.
I know we said Kingdom Hearts.
We called this shit.
So, Square Enix is making a Final Fantasy kart racer. Saying that out loud, I can't. Yes, a Final Fantasy kart racer. It is called Chocobo GP. Chocobo Grand Prix. And you can play as a chocobo in the game and drive around as a chocobo on roller skates. It actually okay. So the concept is good. It didn't look good though, unfortunately. I don't know how you felt about that. Like how did it look
Uh,
to you?
it looked all right. It just looked, it looked like a standard, cart type game.
Yeah.
Uh, I imagine there are going to be certain skins for chocobos, and they're probably going to put. This is probably going to be like the Kingdom Hearts that we talked about because we
Mhm.
said like Kingdom Hearts is the perfect fucking franchise for fucking chocobo stuff.
Oh
So I
yeah.
imagine they're just probably going to put all their Kingdom Hearts stuff in this game. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, and the problem is like this genre kart racers is just it's so hard to break into because Mario Kart has perfected it to such a degree that it's like how do you even compete, you know? And that's
well,
the problem. This doesn't
you
look
do
that
different
good.
things, yeah, and you do different things, right? Like there were a ton of like quote unquote kart races on the GameCube. You had Sonic Riders and you had Kirby Air
Kirby.
Ride.
Yep.
But every those have their respective cult followings because those games were actually fun and different. Like Sonic Riders, you're riding on a fucking hoverboard and you did cool tricks. And then Kirby Air Ride, you had that whole open world scene where you can just fucking ride around with four other players and some CPUs and do random stuff. So um I just think now they lack creativity because they're
Yeah.
trying to copy what Mario Kart did. But there are ways that you can circumvent that and just be fucking, crazy with it. And I
Yeah.
like those games that were even Diddy Kong Racing, right? That was like a kart racer that was competing with a Mario Kart 64, but that it plays so different from that game that I don't even put those in the same league. To be honest with you, they're like two completely different games.
Mhm. Well, then there's Crash Team Racing, which I feel like is the only one that's ever really taken the crown from Mario Kart in any real way.
Yeah,
Because that one's like a cult classic and like highly popular,
yeah,
The only thing, yeah, it's just like this just looks like Mario Kart with like a Final Fantasy skin on it. It's just
yeah,
not. They're not like the only thing they have in here is that you can like stack up items to like power them up, so you could like get a fire spell and then make it Fira and then Firaga, and they do different things at each level of that. But I mean, it's all right. So we'll see when it comes out. I don't think it has a. I don't even think it got a release date or anything like that. So, um, I'm sure we'll see more of it soon. Okay, next game was is a new Kirby game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was announced, and man, Montrell, I'm gonna be honest. This looks fucking good, dude.
nothing to be honest about. Like I was fucking interested. I'm like, holy shit, this game looks really good. I always wondered what open world 3D Kirby would look like. Because unfortunately I didn't play the Nintendo 64 that came out
I
version
mean,
of
it's
it.
not an open world Kirby game though. Like
Oh, it's
it's
not. I
still
never played
level.
it.
It's still level based. Yeah.
Okay. Um, but this looks really good. Like it looks like you have boss fights and you can do different power ups with the boss fights. And I don't know, it's like what I wanted from a Kirby game. So I'm looking forward to it and see how far it goes, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's coming in spring 2022. Um, you know, again, I don't like I can't like guarantee I'm going to play this, but I'm interested enough that I want to. So, we'll see as it gets closer if I can fit it in. But yeah, it does look good. I recommend looking at the trailer. It's funny. I was watching the trailer and I was like, man, man, Kirby's cute, man. I was like, I don't know why. He just is. It just I don't know. Fucking eating other beings and absorbing their powers and spontaneously combusting them into nothingness. He's just super cute. All right, next thing they showed was an Animal Crossing thing. They are doing a direct in October with new content that they're going to be showing. And then they showed a game called Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition, which is from Namco, I think. And it is gonna be. It looks like a Sims game, basically, with like Disney characters in it. It's weird. I don't know. Not very appealing to me. Did you take anything out of this one?
No, I think I skipped this part.
Okay. And
I
then
think I did
Knights of the
skip
Old
this part.
Republic, KOTOR is coming to Switch as well. Star Wars. So
Cool.
look forward to that. And then also Dying Light and Dying Light 2 are coming to Switch in the form of Cloud Edition. Well, Dying Light 2 will be a cloud version of the game. The first Dying Light's coming to Switch um, as an actual release on October 19th. You'll be able to purchase it and play it like any other Switch game. But Dying Light 2 is going to be cloud only on Switch. Makes sense. This is how Switch has to get these next gen games. They just cannot, the system cannot play them natively. So, but I don't know why you'd want to play Dying Light 2 on the Switch, but more power to you if you do. And then the next one they showed was Project Triangle Strategy from Square Enix, which I gave some thoughts on back when the demo came out earlier this year. But it is set to launch on March 4th, 2022, and they showed some of the improvements they've implemented since the demo, based on people's feedback. I am kind of feeling like they didn't fix the biggest issue though, which is the voice acting. So that is going to be a problem more than likely with the game when it comes out. But I am going to be playing this 100% when it comes out though. It's my kind of game. This is my shit. And I'm going to play it. Montreal, you going to try it out?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, you are?
I'm
Okay.
I'm try it out. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Give it a shot. Okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It reminds me of Golden Sun, so I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, it does have that aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Next game was they just showed Metroid Dread again, another trailer. It's still coming out on October 8th, which we already knew. But did you take anything else out of this trailer?
I actually purposely stopped looking at this because I don't need to know anything else. I just want to play the game.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to play it either, but it does look good. So, all right, next thing they showed. All right, buckle in, everybody. So, we're getting N64 games on Nintendo Switch Online and also Genesis games on Nintendo Switch Online as part of the subscription. However, it's not going to be part of the primary subscription. It is going to be an expansion pack subscription.
Oh, what? I didn't know that. Oh, it's so dumb.
So it's going to be an add-on to the Switch Online, normal Nintendo Switch Online membership. So it's going to cost more money.
How much money?
We don't know. Nintendo said they were going to announce that at a later date.
Oh my god!
Now, it is coming at the end of October. They didn't put a date on it, but that's the time frame they mentioned. And they did announce the games that will be launching on it when it does come. So the Nintendo 64 games are Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi's Story, Zelda Ocarina of Time, something called Winback. I don't know what that is. And then Mario Tennis, Dr. Mario 64, and then a ninth game that is I cannot read the title of. I'm not sure.
It looks like it's a Japanese only game.
Yeah, it looks like a Japanese game of some sort. And then the Genesis games are Castlevania, Contra, Sonic 2, Golden Axe. Let's see. I can't read all these. Rise Star, Streets of Rage, Shining Force is also in there.
And then good-ass fucking games for Genesis, man.
There's a few more in there as well. So if you wanted to see them all, there's a screenshot out there. But Montrell, are you excited about this? I mean, Nintendo 64 is like, I feel like our generation, right? That's like kind of when we like grew up with video games really for the first time.
I was fucking ecstatic when I saw this. Because I played all of these Genesis games. I literally still have the original cartridges for all of these games, except for Musha. But I got all the original cartridges for all these games. And I have the original cartridges for all these games except for the Nintendo 64 game, obviously except for the that Japanese game. But I love me some Winback. That was a really good game. It tried to do something different. It's a third person shooter with cover.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over the shoulder too.
Huh.
Yeah, but you know the 64 had rear controls, so you just had to get used to it. But it had third person over the shoulder shooting. So yeah, I love all these games. The game I'm most anticipating, two of them. You would think it would be Zelda Ocarina of Time. Fuck no. It's 60 Star Fox 64 and Yoshi's fucking Story. I haven't played those
Yeah.
games in fucking
Okay.
years.
Did they say that you could play this online? These games online with people?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Because dude, if we can play Star Fox 64 online, I we got to do it.
Yeah, because you're not going to destroy me. I know you destroyed your family, but not me, man.
Yeah, I need real competition, Montrell. Okay. No, Star Fox 64 is like multiplayer is super fucking fun.
Yeah.
And underrated for sure. So I'd love to play that against you and then some of the other guys too if we can convince them to play with us.
Oh, we got
Mario
old school
Kart
Mario
2.
Tennis, man. Whew.
Mario Tennis? Fuck yeah,
Oh,
dude.
man.
Mario Tennis on N64 is fucking awesome. Okay.
Man.
It is the best Mario Tennis game. I don't give a shit what you say about the newer ones. Fuck them. They were like, fuck all these power moves and all this bullshit where Bowser like jumps into the sky and jumps back down and fucking slams the ball into the earth and craters the earth into its fucking core. I don't give a shit about that. I just want pure tennis, and that's what Mario Tennis on the N64 is. So yeah, it's fucking excellent. And then Mario Kart 64, of course, too, is one of my favorite Mario Karts.
Yep.
So what I'm hoping for, Montreal, hoping for is
online.
No, think of the games. If we can get online for the certain games that I want to point out though is Pokemon Puzzle League. Did you ever play that?
No, I didn't play Puzzle League.
Oh my god, Pokemon Puzzle League is one of the most like addictive games I feel like I've ever played. I had a phase with that game where I rented it once and I spent literally an entire fucking weekend like I woke up and played it for the entire day, and then I went to sleep and woke up and played it for the entire next day. And then I did that for like multiple weekends in a row. Dude, Pokemon Puzzle League is fun as fuck, man. It's a
like so. Do you do a puzzle and then like they do like battle animations or something?
No. I'm gonna get you like a video of this. Dude, it's like a weird Tetris-y clone.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find gameplay of this real quick. Here we go. Pokemon Puzzle League gameplay. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, watch that when you have some time. It's in the Zencaster thing. But yeah, Pokemon Puzzle League is my shit. And if you could play that like multiplayer against other people, like dude, it'd be super fucking fun, man. So there's that. What else am I thinking of? Mario Golf on N64 is also really good.
Oh yeah, that's a really good game. I forgot about
Mario Party, the Mario Party games.
Yeah.
Smash Bros, of course.
Nah, I don't want that. Nah.
No, you don't want that one? Okay.
Nah,
I mean, if we get Melee, whenever the GameCube one comes out, if we get Melee.
No. Like, they're never putting Melee. That's a pipe dream.
Oh, true, dude. They're putting that shit in the vault and they're never opening it. They're never opening it. That game is the black sheep of Nintendo games at this point. They fucking hate Melee.
It was too good. It was too good of a game.
They're like mad. They're mad at how good it was. They're like, God damn it, we don't want our games to live this long. Like we want them to live for like 4 years and then they die, and we make a new one that you buy. Like
that game is the reason why Smash Brothers is the way it is today. They're not bringing that game back.
Yeah.
However, another 64 game I think me and you both will enjoy is F-Zero.
Oh yeah, they did say they're bringing that, dude.
Oh, they did?
They confirmed it. They said they showed like a list of future games coming, and that was one of them. Was F-Zero. So
yeah, I want F-Zero and I want Pokemon Stadium. I don't even want the battles. If they just like release Pokemon Stadium mini games, I would love it.
Yeah. Well, the other one was oh my god. Banjo-Kazooie, which I thought was
shit. Yeah.
And Microsoft must be letting them do that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That's cool that they still have that kind of relationship. So,
but this is the first time I've actually thought about getting Nintendo Switch Online and playing any of these games on it. So, might be looking into that. Oh, the other thing they announced though, Montreal, is compatible controllers. So wireless Nintendo 64 and Genesis controllers that you will be able to use to play these games. And guess how much they cost?
$50.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each.
I will be getting the 60 or the the 64 one. So you
Dude,
can blame me. You can blame
I
me.
know. I might be getting one too, but are you fucking kidding me? You are selling a wireless 25-year-old controller for $50 fucking Nintendo?
Hey, it's still going to have the Nintendo 64 drift. Remember the 64 controller
Well,
had the
dude,
drift too?
that's what I'm worried about. I was like, I saw them show it, and I'm like, oh no, they didn't change they better have changed the analog stick because that shit broke so fast when you play Mario Party. Do you remember the mini games that you would play in
Oh
Mario
yeah.
Party that made you spin the analog stick around in a circle really
Yep.
fast? Dude, that shit would murder N64 controllers. Like it was straight up murder of the first degree. Like your your controller, you play it for a few weeks and then you need a new controller because the analog stick didn't stand up anymore. It would like lean to a side basically, and you couldn't stand it up straight. The thing would just completely break, and like the hinge that it was on was just not designed to be spun around like that. It was a
Yeah.
piece of shit. So hopefully they fix that. I hope they fix that, but no Nintendo. They probably didn't because they know people will break it and then go buy another controller. Same thing they did with the Joy-Con Drift. Get fucked, Nintendo. And yet we all still buy their shit. Okay. Next thing they showed after that was Castlevania Advance Collection. All the Castlevania Game Boy Advance games will be coming to Switch. They're actually on Switch right now. They came out today after this direct. So if you like those games or never played them, you can now play them on Switch. After that, Shigeru Miyamoto came out and talked about a Mario Brothers movie that is being made with Illumination, the studio behind Despicable Me. And apparently this was announced previously,
It
but I had
was.
no idea about this. I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, really?
Um,
Yeah.
the funniest part about this though is that they didn't show a trailer or anything, but they announced the English voice cast for the movie, and Chris Pratt is going to be playing Mario.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
And then
Anya,
Charlie from fucking
dude,
Always Sunny in Philadelphia is
bro, I bust out laughing. So Anya Taylor-Joy is going to play Peach. I don't know what she's acted in, but Charlie Day is going to be playing Luigi, the dude from fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he's
Oh
been
my
in plenty of other
god.
things as well. But he is one of the funniest motherfuckers on the planet. And him
Yes, he
playing
is.
Luigi, like what tone are they going for with this movie? Because bro, he is like way over the top vulgar, like kind of
Yeah.
comedian, and he's funny as hell. But man, as Luigi, and then but it goes on. Jack Black's playing Bowser, and then this is where I was like, am I high? Am I in like some weird fugue state? Because Keegan Michael Key is gonna be playing Toad.
Hey, Aaron. Yeah, he has to make a joke like that. He has to make a joke.
Oh my god, dude! And then it gets fucking weirder though. Then Seth Rogen's gonna play Donkey Kong. Like,
Yeah, this
is gonna
movie
be
is probably gonna be funny as fuck.
bonkers. It's gonna be funny as shit. Maybe not in a good way, but it's gonna be funny no matter what. I feel like
Yeah.
somehow, some way. So it's yeah, that's happening, guys. That's happening, and they announced a date for it, December 21st, 2022, for North America. So next year, I'm probably gonna go see this on day one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it right now. So yeah, look forward to that, everybody. Keegan Michael Key is Toad. He can pull it off. The dude's fucking super talented and hilarious. What are they going for with that though? Like, what's the mood, the tone they're going for? I don't know. I feel like this movie's gonna be vulgar, dude. And I'm like, this is Nintendo. There's no way. There's just no way. I don't know. Oh well. Okay, let's move on. Next thing they showed was Splatoon 3. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of skipped over this. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I did. I'm not sorry, y'all. I'm just not interested in Splatoon.
Me
If you
either.
are, then you can go look at it. It looks like they added a lot of cool stuff to it, but not for me.
Well, I think the thing about it is like I watched like the first like minute or two of this presentation for it, and I'm just like, I watch this. I'm watching this right now, and I can't tell you whether it looks good or looks bad. I have no idea what is happening on the screen and what that is supposed to indicate to me. So the idea of people losing their shit over this is like hyper confusing to me because I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening. Like they're shooting paint at each other, but nobody's dying, and like the paint's hitting the ground. It's just I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Splatoon's not for me.
yeah, it's just not for me.
It's not for me. But all right, we're at the end. The last thing they showed, this was their one more thing for this direct, was they finally showed gameplay for Bayonetta 3 from Platinum Games, and it looks like more Bayonetta.
Yeah, and I was super excited for it. I thought this game was dead, like legitimately fucking dead.
Oh, really? You thought Bayonetta 3 wasn't going to happen? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I know they announced it, but you thought it was in development hell?
yeah, because they didn't show anything for like the last 2 years when they announced
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought either Platinum Games like scrapped it or it was in development hell and just like. Because I know every time someone asks Nintendo will actually respond and say, "Yeah, this game is still in development," or whatever. But yeah, I'm actually glad we got some kind of something out of it, and it looks like they were actually like working on it. It looks like it is not put together last minute. That makes any sense. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks good. I just find it really funny at this point that this is a Nintendo exclusive franchise. Bayonetta. Like what? It's just like it doesn't really make any sense, but it is reality. Like it's but it looks great. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Bayonetta personally, but it like I know it's a good game though, like a good game series. So I'm happy for people that it is coming. But it was given a release window of 2022, so it's coming some point next year as well.
yeah, I
But
can't wait so I can finish off the series. I really didn't like Bayonetta 2 that much, but looks
really,
like yeah, I didn't like it that much.
man, people
Looks like
love that
3.
game, dude.
Really? I didn't like it too
Two, like
much.
two. I remember two when it came out, got a bunch of fucking like tens everywhere. Like that game was like beloved.
Mm, that's
I didn't
interesting.
like one. I remember I played one. I probably played through about half of one, and I just kind of was like, I was really put off by the whole like score mechanic and everything. That you like every fight you fought was like scored, and I was like, I hate this shit. It makes me like want to play like super perfectly, and I don't know. I don't like that pressure in an action game.
You used to it, baby.
Yeah, maybe I'll go back at some point and try it again, but because from what I remember, I don't think it mattered that much. Maybe it did.
Well, in the earlier games, like I don't know if they're going to do the trophy. I mean, obviously this is in the Switch, so it doesn't have trophies. But like in the earlier games, yeah, it did kind of matter. Like as far as like you want to get unlockables and stuff, like extra stuff. You don't have to. If you got through the whole game with C's, then cool. You beat the game. Nothing. Nothing special will
Yeah,
happen or whatever.
loser.
Yeah, but like you'll get special outfits and achievements and things like that if you did go through it and beat it. Like got
Yeah.
primarily S's and stuff like
I
that.
think
So
that's why I didn't like it that much. I just was like, I don't want to. I like in that moment I was playing the game, I just didn't want to do that shit. Like I was like, I don't feel like playing. I don't feel like redoing all these fights over and over and over again to get like fucking S ranks. So, but hey, it's coming. It looks good, and we're happy. All right, let's move on, Montrell. That's our Nintendo Direct. Well, I guess question like, how did you feel about that overall? As a direct, was it a good direct?
yeah, it had some things that it answers some questions. It looks like they're moving towards the future because we've been bitching about why are there not these type of games on the Switch and it looks like they're actually taking some of that feedback. They're just doing it in their own way, if that makes any sense. So um yeah, I think Bayonetta was the big one because people were literally asking about Bayonetta like in the chats and everything. Every time there's a direct, people wanted to know what the hell happened to Bayonetta, and I thought it just got canceled. like and silently canceled. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a great direct. But man, I cannot believe we didn't get a Xenoblade announcement. After that rumor we had a few weeks ago about it, and nothing here. I'm like, that game might not be coming as soon as was reported. So
Yeah, I did
it's,
not have my hopes up for any Xenoblade games. I'm sorry, bro. Like I
this
just
was the spot, dude. This was the spot, though, Montrell, like to
it
announce it.
was.
You
Yeah.
know, so that kind of indicates to me that it's not really that close. It like we could be looking mid 2022 before we like actually get it if it's still slated for 2022, which I would think so. But who knows? Maybe that report was totally off too, and it's like not even anywhere near close. It could be 2023, which would
Yeah.
suck. But I hope to hear about it soon, though. It's been a bit of a drought with Xenoblade news the last couple of years. So, all right, let's move on. We got one more story to get through. And that is NPD numbers for August 2021. So total video game sales were 4.37 billion versus 4.07 billion in 2020. That's a 7% increase. And then video game content. So this is physical, digital sales, microtransactions, subscriptions across all platforms. 3.878 billion versus 3.68 billion last year. That is a 5% increase. Video game hardware was 329 million this year versus 226 million last year. That is a 45% increase. And then video game accessories was 164 million this year and last year, completely flat, no change. So sales, little bit of growth, particularly the hardware side makes sense. This was last year at this time. We were highly anticipating the release of new consoles, so I'm sure hardware sales were severely truncated because of that. But otherwise, game sales overall, slight increase, but not much. The game industry, the boom uh, seems like it might be here to stay, but the increases are not along with it. It's going to be a little bit more slower growth probably going from here. We've seen this the last few months. So year to date, though, a little bit better overall. Total video game sales for the year are up 13% up to this point, and then video game content's up 11%. Hardware is up basically 50%, and then accessories are up 12%. Top 20 best-selling games of the month in the U.S. Number 1, Madden NFL 22. Shame, shame, shame on you. Shame on all of you. Y'all are fucking lemmings. Stop buying Madden, okay? How many videos need to come out showing how fucking broken and buggy this game is before you stop buying this goddamn fucking franchise? I hate Madden so much. Number 2, Ghost of Tsushima. Number 2. So obviously there was the re-release of the director's cut, I think they called it, of that game last month. And damn, dude, number 2, that's pretty impressive for a game that came out literally last year. And then number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 4, Humankind, which is the new Civilization competitor 4X strategy game from Sega and I believe oh my god, the company that makes Beyond Endless Space. Oh my god, yes, I forget their name, but those guys made this game, and I want to check it out for sure, but I just got to find time to do it. Number 5, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 6, Mario Kart 8. Number 7, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Number 8, Minecraft. Number 9, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 10, MLB The Show 21. Number 11, Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 12, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Number 13, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Number 14, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 15, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Number 16, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 17, Super Mario 3D World. Number 18, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 19, Mario Golf Super Rush. And number 20, Super Mario Party. Anything on that list jumping out to you, Montrell?
No, not really. A lot of this kind of actually the Miles Morales one kind of stuck out. I don't know what drove sales for that game. Probably the reveal other week.
No, that was this month.
Okay.
This is from August, so
Yeah,
No idea.
yeah, that's pretty
I
weird.
mean, it was number 8 in July, so I mean, I think it just has strong sales overall. It's got a nice tail to it for Sony. It
Okay.
just seems to sell consistently. Not as consistently as Mario Kart or Zelda or Animal Crossing or Pokemon or Mario Golf or Mario Party, but
They're making
you know,
tons of money. Holy shit.
Nintendo.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's bonkers. I don't like, dude, it's just like they just take up the 10 to 20 slots like every fucking month. Like, I don't know, man. We've been doing this podcast for nearly 3 years and this has never, ever changed. It's always been this way every fucking month. It's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't know.
There has to be fans out there buying multiple copies. Because like I don't know, man. I don't know that. Yeah, I just don't know, man. I just
Well, it's
don't.
like it's the same games too. It's not like it's a new Nintendo game. It's like it's Mario Kart 8, Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I mean, these are games that are old, like old as fuck. Like Breath of the Wild is 4.5 years old. Like Mario Kart 8 is a fucking 8-year-old Mario Kart game, or like 7-year-old Mario Kart game from the Wii U that they just ported over. It's like Smash Bros. I think is like 3 or 4 years old at this point. Sword and Shield is a couple years old. I mean, like Jesus, man, like it's fucking crazy, like how much staying power some of these games have. Even Super Mario Party, which that game sucks. Like, how is that 20 on the list every month? Like, I don't understand. Like, who's
Yeah.
getting conned into buying this shit? I don't know. But hey, man, more power to him. More power to you, Nintendo. All right, let's go through the top 10 best selling for the year. Number 1 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. MLB The Show 21 is number 2. Number 3 is Resident Evil Village. Number 4 is Madden NFL 22. Number 5 is Super Mario 3D World. Number 6 is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 7 is Mario Kart 8. Number 8 is Monster Hunter Rise. Number 9, Minecraft. Number 10, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Interesting to note that about half the games on this list did not come out this year. So, kind of a weak year, it seems, so far.
Yeah.
Because Ratchet and Clank ain't even on here, dude. And that's a Sony exclusive.
Yep. I think that kind of proves my point that there are more Sonys sitting in garages than in people's hands, in my opinion. But
yeah. Man. Yeah, who knows? Sony does.
I think we'll really see if does when God of War come out? Does that come out next year?
Yeah. Horizon's the test.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Horizon will be the test.
Because Horizon's a huge seller. Like Horizon Zero Dawn sold, I think, like 10 million copies. Like it's a huge game for Sony.
Okay, yeah. I at least expected to sell 3 million.
Oh, for sure. I think the test would be can it break 5 million by that point? Because I would imagine by that point in time, that would be February of 2022, which means the console would have been out for about 15 months, which means there should be 20 to 25 million of them out in the wild, maybe. So it'd be interesting to see if they can get to about 5 million sales, how high they can get,
I think that's reasonable.
But
people,
if they can get higher than that, that would be impressive.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Sure. So we'll see. Okay. Well, that's it, man. That's all the news we got this week. Anything else you want to discuss before we head out today?
Just one thing. It's probably going to take like 5 minutes. I mean, we already beat it to the dead horse in previous episodes. But for some reason, people were it popped up on a timeline that Sony and Microsoft are quote unquote going to go to hell the way they handled these consoles, and end quote. But yeah, like it seems like people are just now realizing how bad they're handling these consoles. And a lot of people are realizing, which you've been preaching for months. You've been on the fence about it, but I'm like adamant. I think they always. You know what triggered it? They tweeted out something about their console sales again, and I think that's what triggered a lot of people because a lot of these
Yeah.
people do not have the console. Like you go into the comments, they're like, "I don't have a fucking console, so who's buying its consoles?" And yeah, that was pretty funny because not funny because I already have the console, but it's funny because they're tweeting out these sales. It's like they're completely oblivious to what's going on in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a weird
Well, did you see the
thing.
pictures of the lines around Best Buys
Yep,
that
I
happened this
sure
week?
did.
Because Best Buy actually was selling them in person for the first time, and dude, there were lines around every Best Buy in the fucking nation
Yep,
of people
I
trying to
saw
get a
that.
PS5, and or I think they had Xboxes too. And I'm like, man, dude, it's still this bad, huh? It's still
Yep,
this bad. It's like Black Friday out here, trying to get a fucking console. Like we're like almost a year in, and I know
and
there's a
and that's what
shortage, but damn,
and that's
dude.
what people were complaining about. They said there should be no reason why people are staying outside for consoles this a year into the console releases. That's
Okay,
ridiculous.
but my thought here is that you know maybe it's just demand is that high, dude.
I
Like
mean that is true, but I honestly think it wouldn't be as bad if they had jumped on the scalper situation as quick as they were doing. I mean, because they have made strides to take care of that situation. I just don't think uh I'm not even like a marketeer or whatever, or strategist or whatever, but I'm pretty sure they could have had ways to combat this. And I
well,
mean, me and you mentioned ways, and I'm
yeah.
pretty sure they have people way educated than us on this matter who can combat that shit. So I
I
don't
think
know.
my thought on this is we said this before they came out last year, but I think even early into their lifespan is that I think the right approach would have been to delay the console a year or even 6 months,
Yeah,
to allow them to build up some amount of supply that they would have a glut of supply to give to people at launch day, worldwide as well, not just in the United States.
yeah,
And I think this is true of Xbox as well because think about the last calendar year, right? This might be one of the weakest years of game releases we've had in since the beginning of the PS4 generation. And it makes sense, it's the beginning of a generation, but and like now we're like starting to get some good releases now towards the tail end of this first year. And these games could have been launch games, some of them. So it I don't know, like it I kind of feel like they should have done it because as much as I love the PS5 and I know you love the new consoles as well for the speed at which they, operate, it wasn't 100% necessary from a games perspective. Like what games came out that needed to be released last November, on PS5, It's
yeah.
like
You're totally right. Like there, it was a massive improvement for the PS4 games, but we haven't really had any must plays for the PS5. Like in my opinion, like I can't. I think the only game so far that was like a must play for me on the PS5, even though it released on the PS4, it was Miles Morales. Like it was a huge difference. You
yeah,
know, Spider Man. Those
yep,
games are like huge differences on the PS5 compared to the PS4.
Tails
Um,
maybe.
yeah, Tails is another game. Um, but even still, I feel like you can get away with it on Tails. You know,
Well, you can play it on
um,
PC too.
yeah, exactly.
Also, it's I mean, we're talking about a game that just came out. Like, the point being they could have delayed the console launch till fucking now, and
Yeah.
it still had Tails on it.
And
So
it was another thing too that kind of bothered me, and it was just like it's just little stuff between some me and my followers or whatever. Um, and they're primarily PlayStation focused people. Uh, but they said this is the most egregious thing I've ever heard. It wasn't the most egregious thing, but as far as right now, they're like, yeah, you know, Xboxes are on shelves everywhere, and I'm like, no, no, they're not. Like,
eh,
let's not do this,
no, they're
guys.
not.
Like this, they took a picture of the Series S. I'm like, of course the Series S is on the stock. Everyone knows. Everybody
Nobody
wants the
wants it.
X's.
Dude,
Exactly.
nobody wants it, man.
Everybody wants the X's. Like everybody wants that. So like, let's not pretend like the X's aren't selling out as fast as the PS5s.
Cuz did you get an X? Do you have a Series
No, I
X?
didn't have an X, and I don't have an X
You
yet.
still don't have one. Yeah, when I was looking a few months ago to get my Series X back in April, which was like 6 months after they came out. The S was pretty easily attainable. There were
Yeah.
like periods of entire half of a day where the S was in stock at like Walmart for like half a day straight up, which for the X, like you would be lucky if it was available for 10 minutes when the X had stock. Like it, so the S has been available for a while, and it's kind of funny to think about. I gotta eat crow on this one. Like I was pretty wrong about the S. Like the S just seems like there's no demand for it whatsoever. Like nobody wants it, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a really nice entry point for people who aren't Xbox fans to like jump into that ecosystem and play games easily. But people don't want it. I think they're more like me. They want the power, dude. They want the X, they want the 4K. They want the high end, frame rates and everything like that. So, and they want the disk drive as well.
Yep. Yeah, so
So,
I agree with you. I want the X as well. I haven't been able to find them. Like if I have, I got to really search and really find them, and they do stay up longer than the PS5. They may stay up like maybe 2 or 3 minutes longer than the PS5.
yeah.
Um, but as far as them being on shelves, no. Like I'm not just walking into Best Buy or Walmart and seeing the Xbox Series X on sale on the shelves, and they're swearing up and down to me like, "Oh man, I see it all the time." No, you don't. Like,
Hey
can we
man,
just stop being a fan?
old 4chan quote, Pixar didn't happen, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to say that like Pixar didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Like, uh, I just want us to stop. Like, stop riding Sony's nuts. I knew I was just riding their nuts like last week because of State of Play last 2 weeks ago because State of Play. But come on, y'all. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Xbox is doing some work out here too. Switch is out here doing work. We can't hardly find any switches on us. Actually, yeah, you can't find switches
Which is crazy. That's a
on
four
the
and a half
shelves.
year old. That's a 4.5 year old console, dude. Like, what in the flying fuck?
And they already said that the OLED models are going to be like, sold out. So
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure. And supposedly this, I mean, I believe there's a new Switch coming in the next year or two, too. Like an updated
oh
Switch
yeah,
2.
yeah. I mean,
So
it's going to be called New Switch.
yeah, probably new Nintendo Switch. Yeah, made by
Yeah.
Nintendo. Yep, probably
So
will be. Or the
yeah,
Switch XL or something.
something stupid. Just call it the Switch 2. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
just
man.
call it the Switch 2. Right. We did this. We did this with the Wii and the Wii U. Don't do it again, Nintendo. Just call it the Switch 2. Like fuck, man. You don't have to be weird about everything. Like,
But you
why do
know
you
what?
hate numbers so much?
They did this with the Nintendo, the NES. It was the NES and then the Super NES.
They've never had a numbered console ever. They've
Yeah,
never done it. And it's like uh, why? It's just like why? Like why do you have to do this?
I will take Super Switch. I will or something like that, right? Or whatever. I don't want Switch U. I don't want
Switch
Switch in.
Pro, would you take that?
Okay, I'll take the Switch Pro.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think so because I think that indicates that it's
a
like a
Pro.
Switch but different. It's like a Switch but more powerful, which it wouldn't be. It would be a new Switch.
Yeah, because when I think of Pro, right, I think of like Adobe Acrobat Pro. How
Yeah.
that's like the real unlocked version of the software instead of like Acrobat DC or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Um, so
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't go with Pro for a layman's perspective, like for your consumers who are like, because like a lot of people who buy Switches actually aren't gamers like that. So I think this is the same issue, like you said, with the Wii and the Wii U. Like people were just coming in like, "Yo, can I get the new Wii?" And GameStop employees, we all experienced them. They're like, "Okay, well, I'll give you the Wii," and they're like, "Oh, this is not the newest Wii though. I wanted the Wii U." Or they go home to your child and like, "This is the Wii. We already have that. I want the Wii U." You know what I'm saying? So,
Montrell,
um,
come on, man. Don't lie to the people. Nobody was going anywhere and asking for a Wii U, okay?
no, that's what I'm saying. I
Like
think parents were legitimately.
Nintendo sold like 13 million of those. Like
I think parents were legitimately didn't know what the Wii U was.
I mean, they killed the console. I know what you mean. Like they killed the console because of the name. Like the name was so confusing that people were just like, because what happened probably was they got sold a Wii and they didn't question it, and then they just thought that was the console. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and they didn't know any better. But yeah, man, God, the Wii U is one of like the worst devices ever made. I can't believe
It's not that bad, y'all. It's not that bad.
I mean, okay, fine. It's not as bad as like some of the old like 80s consoles that came out or some of the Sega shit that Sega was pooping out at certain points in their
It is
history.
one of their most overlooked
But
consoles. That was a failure for them. That was a colossal failure for them.
but
I
like
will say that.
what Nintendo console is worse than the Wii U? Like what
I,
console?
I, I don't want to say sales wise. I think GameCube is barely above it.
No, GameCube sold like 20 to 25 million.
Okay.
But I'm talking about quality of the device
Quality
and
of the
like
device.
the library. As much as I don't think the Wii's that great, I'd still say it has a better library than the Wii U.
Nah, I think the Wii U has a better library.
Bro,
There are a lot of good.
Galaxy 2, you got
There are a lot of good
Fire
games
Emblem,
stuck on the Wii.
Radiant
Well, you know
Dawn.
what? I am saying that because I did play Wii games on my Wii U, so maybe that's why. So
Okay. The Wii was also backwards compatible with the GameCube, so that's a that's a pretty big boon in its favor as well.
yeah.
No, just the Wii U overall is Nintendo's, one of Nintendo's worst devices. There was of course things like the fucking Virtual Boy or I don't even know. I can't even think of anything else. But like in terms of the handhelds, all the handhelds are better than the Wii U. And in terms of the
Oh
home
yeah.
consoles, the only one that would compete to be worse to me is the Wii. And
You're talking about quality, right? Because sales,
quality of
Wii.
like
Yeah.
library and the device itself.
Yeah. You know what? I actually think the 64 is probably up there with the Wii U.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying that, and I know that's super controversial,
we're hyper
but
nostalgic for it, so we give it bonus
yeah,
points. But you're right; it's not a great console.
yeah. I think the quality of games on the 64 aren't really that good. They're only, if you ask anybody, they only mention 5 games, and it's almost everyone unanimously it's the same 5 to 10 games.
Yeah,
Like
I think
besides,
there's like 30 to 40 probably that are good,
mm,
but
that's a stretch.
you're stretching it for some people. I'm sure. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying 30 to 40 that's good for everyone. I'm saying 30 to 40 that I think are good.
Oh, that you think? Okay, yeah. I think.
But then you got shit like Glover. You remember that game? Dude, that game was like the game when the N64 came out. You remember that shit? That was like the game that was at every fucking kiosk that had a demo unit for an N64 was fucking Glover, dude. That was the game they were trying to sell consoles with. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Holy shit! You just unlocked a memory in my head that I completely forgot. I completely forgot about that game. Holy
dude, you're
fucking
literally a
shit!
fucking glove. You play as a glove that runs around like you do with your fingers, like and you fucking kick things and do these fucking it's a weird game. And then there's like the lack of RPGs on the console is like always a huge problem for the N64. Like I remember like Quest 64 was like the first RPG and it was a
Oh my
total
god, that game
terrible
is
game.
fucking. That
Yeah.
game is the most terrible game that I love. I have no.
No,
I beat that game.
Aiden Chronicles is that game for me, and it's also an N64 game. Like,
And
I
beat
love that game, and it's a pile of shit. Like, there's no music in the game. The game literally couldn't fit music because it was so like stretched, squeezed onto the cartridge.
Yeah.
Like there's no music. The sound effects are awful. It's just, dude, but I don't know why, but I like it though. I like the fucking game. I don't know.
Yeah, there are some games on the 64 I wish, like Jet Force Gemini, I wish that would be revived some way.
Remade.
Yeah, remade or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think 64 to me is like right under the Wii U. It's probably Nintendo's worst console.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
Wii
there
U has
weren't.
good games.
No,
It's just,
that's the problem. They have really good games that's locked on the Wii U.
no, that's the thing though. They don't though anymore. There's like literally they've ported everything to the Switch except for like Xenoblade Chronicles X and
I
like
know.
Wind Waker HD and like Twilight Princess HD. Like those are the only games that are actually locked on that console anymore. There's no reason to own a Wii U. Like,
because there's a person in that. You know what? This is very narcissistic of me. I don't fucking care. There's a person in Nintendo headquarters who is that one guy that listens to our podcast. Like, yeah, we're never fucking releasing them. You know why? Because Montrell and fucking Justin, they want those
Fuck
two.
those guys.
They want those 3 games, man. They want those 3 games. So we're never gonna fucking release them.
I do want 2 of those 3 games. I don't care about Wind Waker, but Twilight Princess and Xenoblade Chronicles X, man, I'd be over the moon about those if they announced those for Switch. But dude, it's like the thing that pisses me off about it is like Xenoblade Chronicles X is such a good game. Is like it's so good of a game that I will someday in my future, if they never port it in my life, I will go buy a Wii U specifically to play that game again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will sell that same Wii U a couple months later when I'm done with it because there's no other reason to own the fucking thing. You know, it's it sucks, dude. It sucks because yeah, it's a great game. It's one of my favorite games I've ever played.
Yeah, I mean that's really all I had to say though, because I just thought that was really interesting, the conversations, and then people. I don't know, it's like, and you know what? Maybe, and you know what I will say, Xbox fans were just as bad, but man, people do not take a day off on Xbox, man. They shit on them every minute they can. It's getting kind
Yeah.
of obnoxious, man.
Well,
So.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I modified my Twitter app recently and added subjects to my timeline, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And Xbox was one of them. And dude, I see these tweets pop up every once in a while, every couple days, where some Xbox influencer or fanboy says some shit that is just like so like anti Sony and anti Nintendo, and it's like, man, where are all the Sony fanboys now? Xbox got got this fucking great ass game that just came out on it. It's like,
Bro, oh my god, I saw a tweet like that too because I had the same thing. And
yeah,
and Xbox, sometime, bro, they're fucking delusional. Their fans
yeah,
are at least PlayStation fanboys have a reason to be delusional.
yeah,
Xbox
right.
fanboys have
You got
no
nothing,
fucking
man. You aren't winning.
no
You don't have the best exclusives. Like,
no
what are
fuck.
you even crowing about?
They
Like,
were so fucking desperate to
yeah.
nitpick at the state of play that
Oh
they
yeah.
fucking compared the boat animation of Kratos getting inside the boat to each other. Well, looks like they didn't even put any money into the game. They're recycling animations. Bro, are you fucking kidding me?
Of course they are. Are you kidding me? Like, what value is there in remaking that animation? What value is there in that? Like, what are you even talking about, dog? Like,
It was so bad. I actually blocked that person. That was the first time I blocked. I didn't even see who his name was. I just blocked him because I
yeah.
was like, I can't do this. Like, this is ridiculous. Are
Oh,
you
totally
serious?
understood. No, I I'm just I don't under who are these people, man? Like
They have to be bots. They have to be
they
like.
gotta be. It's Russian bots, right? It's Russia. They're trying to get us to fight each other. You know, like it's gotta be because, dude, have you ever met a console fanboy in real life? Like, have you ever
No,
met one? I
no.
haven't. I can't think of a
The
person.
closest
And
person, and DJ's gonna kill me if he made it to this far.
oh
Closest
no,
person is DJ for Sony, and I was like that for
yeah,
Xbox. But I think we were like the closest. But that was like 360 PS3. We were in college. We were fucking stupid. But
yeah. And then you
like,
realize that those people are like fake humans, and you're like, why am I acting like this? You know?
yeah, and we used to argue amongst each other. Like we didn't take these arguments to other people, right? It was just like a banter between me and him. So besides that though, like when we were always talking to, like, if it was just me and DJ and we are talking to each other, yeah, we were like that with each other, like the online people, right? How they would talk to each other, we'd be like that with each other. But if they're like a group of people with us, we wouldn't be like that at all. Like we would, be coherent, fucking rational people
Right,
about
right.
the video game. So yeah, you're right. I never actually met someone who's like this online. Like I never met that before.
I haven't either. Same with other topics. I think people online are just like they're like a caricature version of themselves, you know. It's like they're not really acting like who they are. They're acting like themselves like to an extreme, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird, but I just thought that was an interesting conversation. Didn't mean for it to go this long, but yeah, I just thought that was really
Hey
cool.
man, we're giving the people look, I'm sure there's someone out there that listens to this every week and was upset, has been upset that the show's been like, short the last, little while going. Well, hold on. I'm going to go look through the show times here. So, okay. So last week was 57 minutes, but that was because I was on by myself. The week before that was a hour 51. It was a pretty meaty show. And then we had a 56, big 56 in there. And then an hour 41. That's a pretty good show length. So we're like alternating weeks. Like we have like a short week, and then we have a long week, and then we have a short week, and then we have a long week. So, we're giving people everything. If you like the short weeks, you're getting them. If you like the long weeks, you're getting them. It's just happening every other week.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, y'all. Like it's just because the way they're
news
releasing
has been
news.
like
Yeah,
lately,
it's been
man.
like 1 week we get nothing, and then next week is like bombarded with shit.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, hey, if you want the show to be longer, send us questions. Okay, let's get into the end here. If you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on, and please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you could do so at iTrap for the Hokage, for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week.